Test, 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 test. Hello, hello. Hi, Saria, Hari, Darth, Magog. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you've had a good couple of weeks. It's been a little while since I've seen you guys on stream. Sorry for my absence. As I'm sure you can hear, my voice is still recovering. I basically wasn't able to talk much for a week or so, um, which I'm sure some people rejoiced in, but it was kind of frustrating because I wanted to be on stream talking to you guys, but had to take some time to recover. Um, so I apologize in advance. I feel like I say this every time, but I do apologize in advance if I'm a little bit lower key tonight. Um, Also, not doing the whole Jacksepticeye PewDiePie routine. Might be keeping it a little bit more low key, so to speak. But that being said, yeah, I would love to know how you guys are doing. In addition, excuse me, in addition to the illness, I'll admit it's been a little rough over here. I don't know if you guys have been following the various incursions of, well, let's be frank, domestic terrorism that have been happening via ICE over the past little while. But yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty soul crushing to see the lack of empathy and hatred that is sweeping all over the place. I mean, it's always been there, but when you see it so casually, so just kind of like out in the open everywhere, it can be pretty discouraging. So just a message to anybody who's listening, regardless of your own personal beliefs or convictions about any political perspective. You know, just try to be nice to each other, try to be kind, try to remember that at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all trying to make a life. Yes, there are people who make mistakes and should be held accountable for those mistakes, but also a lot of times when people make mistakes, it's for a reason, and we could choose to respond to that. Excuse me, fuck. With hostility and hatred and discrimination, or with compassion and assistance. If you live in America, you live in one of the most powerful, most influential, most successful, most militarily potent nations the world has ever known. And so, yeah, it's about time for us to admit that we have the option to respond to the awfulness with niceness. We don't just have to respond with more hostility. I'm being vague, but like specifically, yeah, like try to de-escalate, try to show compassion, try to support your local community, try to be there for people when they need you. Look for opportunity to support organizations that, feel valuable to you. I don't like talking about politics a lot, mostly because I don't, I'm not super informed on a lot of things. I can't really tell you anything about economics. I don't feel prepared to discuss the Middle East or anything like that. But this is just basic human decency. It's basic human compassion. And so, yeah, just be good to each other. Stay safe, stay warm. With that being said, I'm going to... God damn. Sorry about that. I'm going to start by jumping into some Clair Obscur here. If you're new to the series, welcome. Really appreciate you stopping by and checking us out. Basically, we're doing a slow, analytical, chill playthrough of Clair Obscur. I'm a game developer. I've been working in the industry for 10-ish years, and I find the game very inspiring, not just as a player, but as a developer. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this game, and I've talked a lot about things that inspire me about it over the course of the past several months now. Everything from the music to the artistic design to the flow of the game, the loop, like everything about it, I think, with very, very few exceptions, is extremely fine-tuned, extremely impressive. I do think the game deserves pretty much all the accolades that it's received. I think it deserves the awards that it's received, and I'm sure there will be a sequel. I can't wait to see, or maybe it's not a sequel, there will be another game from Sandfall, like there has to be, right? Can't wait to see what they do next. And yeah, the Game Awards happened recently. We had a fun stream kind of covering some of that. It was kind of hilarious to see just how many awards Clair Obscur took home. I do think it sometimes I felt it like a little bad for some of the other teams. Because like there are a lot of people that did great work this year, you know. I have to give it all to these guys, but also it's not like they don't deserve it. They work their asses off, and their passion and talent and dedication shows that they earned every last award. Um, yeah. So that being said, hope you guys are doing well, and we're gonna. I think last time we ended off with some conversations with some of our folks um, at camp, and we had a couple of things to follow up on. I'm not sure if there's like a quest log because I haven't really needed to look it up much, but I think, let's see, is there actually like a quest log? I don't think I've ever had to look into it because it's all been pretty straightforward. But yeah, something that we should be doing is going to. Oh, I guess you can go back to camp and do remember current objective. But you know, obviously, we should be going and checking out the various narrative pathways that have opened up to us. I think at this point we were supposed to come back here and go back up to the to where we fought La Pontresse before, because there was something related to that from one of our quests, from one of our camp mates. So I'm gonna run over there and see what's up. But yeah, I'd love to know how you guys are doing. Love to know what's been going on in your lives. Return to the Maven. I thought of you, Darth, earlier today because I saw there's a trailer for a new Darth Maul game. I think that's coming out soon. I think it was just a teaser trailer. But I'd be curious to know what you think of it if you've seen it. Sorry, I haven't heard of Palia, but it sounds interesting. It sounds like there's a strong queer community there. That's a positive thing. I'm gonna have to check that out. Clair Silverleaf, or Ciela Silverleaf is a really cool name too. I think I feel that name sounds familiar. Do you use that name on Discord or something like that? But that being said, I also want to say congratulations again. I hope that your internship, the program, has been treating you well. I'd love to hear more about it if you want to share. And also that video you shared of your acrobatics, dude, that's so fucking impressive. Like, it's impressive in and of itself, just by itself, but add that to the extremely, I'm sure, challenging and grueling work that you've done to get yourself back to that point, you know, of healing and everything that has gone into the journey and the struggle. You know, I hope I'm not like falsely describing your experiences or anything. I just, like, from what I remember of my own surgery that I had, the surgery itself was challenging and daunting. The recovery was challenging and daunting. And when I could just like walk normally again without like using crutches or whatever, that was huge. Let alone being able to do some of the movement feats that you've done recently as well. So super happy for you. I hope you'll pace yourself, obviously, but like you know, celebrate the restoration, so to speak, of your normalcy. Hope I'm going the right way, because it seems like a really long journey to go all the way through all of this stuff. But it's worth it. Worth the try. It's a nice way to kind of warm up the stream, I suppose. But yeah, if I'm just like being stupid, feel free to call it out. I don't mind a little bit of backseating if it saves us a bunch of time, like repeating things unnecessarily. Let's see. Oh, hey, Realman, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a good couple of weeks since last we chatted. I think it looks like the conversation in Discord is going pretty well. It looks like you guys, well, I hope you guys weren't getting too frustrated. It seems like you kind of got to a decent stopping point, so I hope that felt okay, that you enjoyed that. Wish I could have contributed something more to it. Honestly, I just don't know anything about One Piece, so didn't really know how to interject myself into the conversation, but I was very impressed with the scans and everything that you've put together, and all of the I don't know. Wait, hang on one second. Just all of the detail and dedication that you guys had to that interaction. So I appreciate that. Darth Maul the GOAT, peak consistently in psychological realism. Yeah, I feel like all I really know about Darth Maul, unfortunately, comes from the movie, but I understand that he's got a lot of additional elaboration, so to speak, elsewhere in the series. So I'd be curious to hear more about what you like about him as a character. Darth Magog says, haven't seen the Darth Maul Shadow Lord trailer yet, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Sam Whittier's been playing him, and he's a huge Star Wars nerd. Oh, awesome. Yeah. I think I've seen videos. Does he do, like, videos of himself doing, like, the choreography of, like, the Darth Maul fight and stuff like that? If so, if that's the person I'm thinking of, then yeah, he seems like a super chill dude and somebody who's obviously, like, very passionate about the character. So that's awesome. So I gotta check out his Clone Wars episodes. Yeah, I haven't seen the Clone Wars. Would you recommend it? That's the animated show, right? Yeah, I feel like I've heard pretty much anytime I've heard somebody mention it, it's been something positive. So I should just get my shit together and actually watch it after all this time, I don't know why it's taking me so long. Oh, that's cool. I don't think we fought this guy before. Sam Winter is also known as Star Killer. Oh, yeah. Of course. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Hello, probably not friend. Yeah, there we go. Highly advise checking out Star Wars The Clone Wars. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Thank you for the tip there. Isn't that the super OP guy? Well, I suppose it depends on what your definition of OP is. If by OP you mean one punch, then yeah. Again, I apologize. I should probably, like, not apologize a million times, but I am sorry about the coughing. It's not much I can do, unfortunately. Rioman says, I want to note if he rejected using real-life physics despite his entire stance presupposing them. He couldn't determine why not being damaged by an attack scales your durability to that attack. Yeah, it's weird. Like, I feel like when I've had conversations with people about the use of real-world physics, I don't want to strawman anybody, and I definitely don't want to, like, put anybody, what's the term, like, on, like, throw shade at anybody. But in my personal experience with a certain couple of individuals, folks are, like, more than happy to use real world physics to basically make assumptions about the real world for power scaling, like assume that a given universe uses the same exact rules as ours, until they get to something where it's like it's sort of convenient to make an exception about it. And then not only are they like, well, this is a reasonable exception, but they'll more so be like, you cannot use real world physics. You cannot assume this because it's a cartoon or whatever. So, of course, light speed, right? Like, I know that I won't shut up about this, but we've obviously talked before about how, like, so a given author of a given universe doesn't have to apply any kind of understanding of real world physics to their universe. They don't have to take a physics course or anything like that in order to make a compelling story. They can create whatever universal rules that they want. I mean, I'm listening to, what is it, what the hell is it called? Is it like the Mistborn saga or something like that? With my partner, we're listening to the audiobooks right now, and, like, they basically have their own system based on, like, magic derived from metal, which is super cool. Like, do they actually have to know anything about how those metals really work or what their chemical composition is in order to make that book good? No, they can definitely work that in there, but the creative team, the author, whatever, doesn't have to. So similarly, no author of any piece of work has to adhere to any particular level of realism. However, I do think that in going into power scaling content in general, we all tend to make certain assumptions. Brandon Sanderson, yes, Brandon Sanderson, that's the name. Sorry, I couldn't remember his name. But yeah, we've been really enjoying that, and so, like, but I think that when we as in general as a community doing power scaling, like if we pick up a book and we see a character like fall down to like jump up and then fall down to the ground, we assume that they are being brought down to the ground accelerated at 9.8 meters per second squared, right? We assume that like whatever the coefficient of friction is on materials in our world, that same coefficient applies to their world. So like if they slow down, they're slowing down at the same rate as they would. Like we assume F equals ma applies and all that stuff, right? So if that's the case, then I think saying to somebody else, you are not allowed to use any arguments that rely on the assumption of real world physics, um, that categorical statement, like shit, like that is just kind of unfair. But it's also the case, I think it's probably the case, like just anecdotally in the majority of cases, that creators of fictional universes probably do like make a lot of baseline assumptions about, they don't bother specifying, going out of their way to be like, no, guys, just so everybody knows, like the gravitational constant, or the whatever the term for that is, in surface gravity here is actually 10 meters per second squared. Like fucking, we can just. It's only us like weirdo like nerd power scalers, and I use that term with pride, that bother worrying so much about this stuff, right? So anyway, I think at the end of the day, what I advocate here, as well as like pretty much anything, is just fairness and consistency. So I hope that you're receiving that from your interlocutors. Let me catch up on chat a little bit. Isn't that super OP guy? So Rioman says, so even if I lost all the other points, which I won all of them, I'd still win. Well, that is a pretty optimistic assessment, but I do admire your confidence. From what I've seen of the way that you two guys have interacted, you both tend to make like kind of trade off on making good points here and there, right? Like when talking about the Naruto stuff, I've agreed with some of the stuff each of you have said. I've disagreed with stuff that you said as well, in a pretty low-key way, if that makes sense. So I think that, as long as you guys are having fun, it's great to see. Let me see. What's all the other points? You sound confident in your win. Yeah, the confidence is admirable. Let's see. You are... What country are you from, my friend? I like the... Oh, you're from Poland. That's awesome. My partner is actually from Poland as well. Yeah, I've wanted to go visit. I would love to go spend some time there. I don't know when I'll have the opportunity, but I am looking forward to it. Wait a minute. All right, it's like, am I doing the right thing? I think so. Yeah, I am currently in. Oh yeah, okay. I'm currently in Northeast. Well, not Northeast specifically. I'm currently on the East Coast side of the United States, somewhere where it does sometimes get cold. Personally, I would be more than happy to talk more about where I live, but I am kind of not because of anyone here, but interactions with other members of the Naruto community and seeing the conflicts that arose there make me very skeptical about making any personal details apparent. But yeah, I've been to New York quite a few times. New York is always like this weird experience. I think we talked about it on stream a couple times before, where the first like day or so when I'm there, I'm just totally enthralled by everything that's going on. There's so much action, there's so much motion. Like you walk down any random street and you're gonna find some of the most amazing food in the world, crazy shops selling amazing stuff that you've never seen before. I went in one shop that was like this weird, I don't know, like make your own pudding with like 200 different flavors and toppings and stuff right next to like this weird, honestly kind of pretentious, but whatever, extremely pretentious, but whatever, was part of the charm, clothing store that was basically the size of my bedroom that I'm currently in now. And they were selling like bathrobes and like pleather pants and stuff for $5,000. It was like the most expensive, and nobody was buying anything. There was hardly anything there, so I think it was probably a mob front or something. But like, I was there with a friend, and I was just like, oh, um, I wonder, this looks kind of cool. And it was like this neon green bathrobe made out of, I don't know, pleather or some kind of plastic or something. I don't even really know, neoprene. And I was like, oh, cool. This is, maybe I'll get this. This is kind of silly. I looked at the price tag. It was like $8,000. Like, what the fuck? Like, I am holding a car in my hand. And if I like twitch, right? Like, if I so much as have a muscle spasm, I'm gonna be forced to buy this. Like, I got really paranoid. But it's so cool. Like, you have all these like weird experiences that I've never had anywhere else. But then for me personally, as somebody who's grown up in the suburbs and had, what I consider to be the luck of living in relatively quiet places, I run out of spoons in like a day. And I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, I don't understand how people live there full time. Um, and I guess this just kind of shows um, my own, like, how spoiled I am as well, because I I refused. I was like, I had to go to the grocery store, and I didn't understand that you can't just like get in a car and drive to a grocery store and park in a parking lot and like haul your groceries out. Like, I don't understand that even something as simple to my mind as grocery store culture is like vastly different when you live in certain parts of the city. Um, like, you're not gonna get anywhere in a car. It's not it's not a thing. Um, so yeah, it's something I think, everybody should go there at least once in their life if you have the opportunity to, because it's such a unique and amazing place. It's the convergence of all of these different aspects of humanity, and it's like no other place I've ever been. I don't know how people live there. I mean, it's I don't. I would have to like train my brain to be able to survive there. No shade, no offense or anything. I understand that some people love it and could never imagine themselves anywhere else. Maybe that includes you, Maycock. I'd be curious to know what you think. It's just I don't have the neural processing power to handle the stimulus, so to speak. Um, but anyway, let me catch up on chat before I get into this fucking what I'm sure is going to be a tough battle over here. New York City is a fun place to visit. Not a fan of living there. Oh yeah, okay. As usual, we wind up being kind of on the same page. Yeah. Um, One of the reasons why you like GTA 4 more than 5. It's a good reason, I think. It's a great setting for a game like that as well. Roman says, I argued that the most basic aspects of physics will most likely be followed by the author, since that's the most simple way of communicating with the reader. Of course, it gets into something complex than nowhere from conflicts with storytelling. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if somebody's being pedantic or being difficult, or even just being, like, particularly skeptical, like, not to be pejorative about it, that, like, it's a fair question to ask. Like, if you're in a debate and you're like, I'm assuming that this universe functions the same way that our universe does in terms of physics, unless it's otherwise stated, it's fair to ask why you're making that assumption. I think it can be healthy to question our assumptions. Personally, I don't feel the need to really question it all that much unless there's something weird about it, and maybe that's a double standard that I have to examine. But yeah, like, just at no point in Naruto was I ever like, I really need to confirm that surface gravity is literally the same as in our universe. Like, even if you could do calcs and prove that it's a little bit off, it's like, for all intents and purposes, the way things are presented, they seem pretty clearly to follow the same rules as our universe, with certain exceptions. I mean, like, obviously you can't bend shadows with chakra. Like, there's shit like that you have to treat separately, right? But yeah, if it conflicts with the storytelling, like you said, Ryomen is a good point. Ryomen also says, here the thing in question was if Kaido has durability to withstand the impact of his own strikes. I said that he's not damaged when he strikes, that he means he's durable enough, so I think that's reasonable to assume the author intends that AP equals durability rather than some magical hex resistance, since things like that are usually explained. So here's something that, like, I've had 2 or 3 people explain this to me, and I think this is just, like, the limitations of my brain. I don't understand Newton's third law. I feel stupid for saying that, but, like, I mean, like, I get the basics of it, but so, like, well, actually, I think maybe I do. I just, like, I understand it intuitively, but I don't really get how to explain it, or, like, feel like I'm missing something. So let's say that there's, like, a piece of paper hanging on a string, from the ceiling, and it's just a thin piece of paper, and I punch it with my hand, right? The amount of force that I am applying to the paper, according to Newton's third law, should be equivalent to the amount of force that is. Sorry, so like when I strike the paper, let's say I strike it with 10 newtons of force. I don't know if that's realistic. I'm just making up a number, right? At the moment that I strike it, 10 newtons of force is going from my hand to the paper, and then 10 newtons of force is also going, quote unquote, from the paper back into my fist. But I don't feel that, right? Like I don't really have sustain any damage to my hand. However, if I take, hold my other fist in place, hold it solid, and then I take my other hand and I hit my first hand with my second hand, then I'm probably going to feel it in both of my hands. Like I might actually injure myself. So even though it's the same amount of force that's being applied in both situations, in one context that force does hurt me, in the other in the other context that same force doesn't hurt me. And I think, if I understand it correctly, it's that like the amount of counter force that you sustain is a product of that initial like force vector, but it's also a product of like how the force is dispersed, the inertia of the object that you're striking, its solidity, etc., etc. Yeah, I think that like I'm guessing that like I do sort of understand it, and then the way with some like caveats probably, but the way that it's being represented in power scaling, it just reflects like a community misunderstanding. Right. Yeah, you're punching something with more density, right? So like the properties of the object determine how the incoming force is going to be dispersed and how much of it is going to be like quote unquote reflected back onto you. But like let's say that I can punch something with a closed fist and I could withstand 10 newtons of counter force against that thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that my hand is going to respond the same way to somebody punching my hand with a 10 pound punch of their own. It depends on like how solid my hand is and how well it absorbs the incoming blow, right? Like the mass, the inertia, the density of what I have versus the incoming thing. I mean, I need to research it more. I feel like I'm still not getting something, but that's on me. Makeup says, I do worry about the power scaling community at large. Lots of men children obsessed with making a point about cartoons and comic books and taking it overly personally. Yeah, so like I do want to do I think anyway, like I currently feel motivated to make a video about the whatchamacallit, the use of power scaling. One second. The use of the data books in power scaling, because that's still something I'm quite passionate about. Oh, well, come on, fucking Margit. Okay, I got it anyway. Because it's still something that I'm passionate about. But honestly, like, I think I'm gonna move away from the Naruto stuff. And like I've kind of mentioned this before, but like basically, if people want me to talk about certain things or react to certain things, I'll do streams about that. But I'm kind of like the people and the things that inspire me about Naruto. Oh shit, I totally fucked that up. You know, that inspire me about the community and inspire me about the series and about the way that people respond to it. The things that I really like resonated with the most are things like you know, Sybil's video on like a queer analysis of Naruto, or Sage's Reign's videos on like and analyzing whether like the Naruto world actually changed for the better based on Naruto's actions. Stuff like that really gets me going. I don't really have much of a desire to like respond to the 20 damn it, like the 20 or 30 videos that come out every single week about like, you don't understand Sasuke versus Naruto, or like, you're wrong about Danzo and his universe. Like I tried so hard and got so far to you know, actually clear up misunderstandings about that, and the misunderstandings about certain things in the community are so deeply entrenched, and they're so wrapped up in like this insular culture war shit about like rallying behind your favorite characters. I think the last time I heard Noodles in a debate, as a matter of fact, I think he specifically said that he doesn't even really like Kakuzu all that much. He was just pissed off about the fact that other people were underrepresenting him. The same thing for like Minato. Like he doesn't really even care about Tobirama that much, but he started repping that particular matchup because he was tired of Minato getting overglazed. So there's this motivation to basically just like, you know, thwart things that other people find cool. I guess just for the sake of fucking with them. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like I can't. Something that I've learned both at work and in dealing with the Naruto community, not to sound too cynical, is that it's really hard to get somebody to care in the first place if they don't care in the first place. You know what I mean? So, like, it's exhausting. It's really really tiring, and I think I would rather like look for opportunities to just to make things that I find like similar to the things that inspire me about other people's work, as opposed to just like trying to. Do you guys really want to hear a 10th video where I like explain to you why I don't like Sage of Thick Calves perspective on geography? Like, I could do it, but I mean, I think I kind of said my piece, right? So we'll see. I definitely want to talk a little bit more. I think I want to do maybe one chill stream on Sunday about the Amaterasu, because that's something that I have the information available for, and I think I could hopefully help clear some stuff up there. I think I just totally wasted my time coming here, but that's okay. But then moving on from that, it's like, yeah, I have to think about like the best way to contribute, and I think what feels right for me right now is going through the data books, because honestly, like the the most amount of confusion that I see, as I've mentioned before, like when I talk to people, the thing that I see time and time again in comments sections is just, I think people have essentially been misled, misinformed, even lied to about what the data books are. Like people just like don't understand it because they don't know where to get them, they don't know how to engage with them or read them, and they just take like content creators words about it for granted and then get confused. So I just want to like put out one more video where I can point to it and be like, hey everybody, look, here's a resource, here's an in-depth breakdown of what this all means, and you can look at this if you need clarification. Then I can kind of be like, okay, I said my piece, you know. Let me catch up on chat real quick. And I think sorry, sorry to lean on you so much. Do you remember what quest we left off on last time? Like, I thought I was supposed to go back to the monolith to um to do something based on like the Eskia quest or whatnot, but I guess not. So I think I'm just gonna go back to camp and we'll start off going through character moments. Um, but yeah, I feel like I just missed something. I'm curious if you happen to remember. I know it was a long time ago, so no worries. Darth Magog says, I would love to help with that, FYI, John the Maven, that video about parascaling databooks. Yeah, I would love that, man. I'd love to run some stuff by you. Basically, what I've done over the past little while is I reread all of the databooks 1 and 2, and I just made like a, including like the Konoha Leaves collection, and or whatever the hell it's called, like everything in it that I could find. And I wound up coming to the realization that I think something like 80 to 90% of everything I read had at least one hyperbolic statement, or just like jokey or fun or goofy statement, let alone, you know, things that are just like completely out of pocket, so to speak. So I want to make a, you know, like a big list, a big resource that just says, you know, for everybody out there telling you what to assume about the data books, you don't have to assume anything, because here is an archive of the actual information. Here's the types of statements that are made, here's the context, here's the tone, and here's a whole bunch of different examples, and use this however you want, you know. But yeah, I'm currently reading some manga called Massacre Happy End. Ooh, that sounds intense. Is it like a horror horror anime or horror manga? Sorry, it sounds fun. It's weird because I saw him say that he loves Toriyama. I mean, like, I don't want to put words in the guy's mouth, right? Like, he might indeed very much love that character and just want to see it represented. I know what it's like when you love something and you don't think it's getting represented correctly. I mean, that's most of what the Naruto videos are that I've done. It's like I don't think my series, quote unquote, is getting properly represented. So yeah. I think that's fair. I don't want to like straw man the motherfucker, but I think about Kakazu specifically. He did say something along those lines that like, not like he dislikes the character, but that he specifically wanted to work against the undervaluing of, or maybe it was like he thinks that like Pain gets too glazed or something and wants to knock him down a peg or something. I forget it. I shouldn't be like quoting somebody without actually having the reference there, so ignore that. I'll go look it up later because I don't want to straw man. Let's see. Do I know more horse per day videos? I'm sure I can find a way to work in horses into more of my videos. I'm more than happy to try to establish that legacy. Speaking of what stops Obito from just one-shotting Naruto with Genjutsu, honestly, I think there is actually potentially a way for him to do that. Naruto has been trained on some amount of Genjutsu resistance, but he would need to actually be able to like do something meaningful about that, right? So he'd need to recognize that the Genjutsu was there and break out of it, and I don't know if he has the sufficient power to do that. Like Genjutsu scaling is probably the hardest thing to get done consistently in the series. I think if Kurama is within him, then Kurama can probably just break him out. I would honestly, if he's like has access to KCM2 or whatever, and like he's fully synced up and fully friends with Kurama, I wouldn't be surprised if Kurama could just like break him out of Tsukuyomi. Like I don't know if there's any precedent for that in this series itself, but if Kishimoto wrote that in, I don't think anybody would be like, oh wait, no, that's stupid, that's a retcon. I think it would just be like, yeah. I think the question would be like if wait, didn't we already do this? The question would be whether or not like Kurama could break him out before like is Kurama's consciousness wrapped up in the same like time frame as Naruto's consciousness? Do they both share the same like time dilation effect? Because otherwise, if like everything kind of happens almost instantaneously to Naruto, then Kurama would be like, wait, what the fuck just happened to him, right? Like, he'd need to be wrapped up in the Genjutsu too and then help him break out of it, maybe. So maybe the Tsukuyomi is, like, more powerful and would be a weird edge case. I don't know. It's an interesting topic for sure. Put the fourth Mizukage under Genjutsu. That is true. Like, he maintained that Genjutsu. And apparently, it was the, was it the Kodowa Matsukami, which is supposedly, like, one of the strongest ones? And he maintained it subtly for years and years and years. So, yeah, I think, yeah. I'm going to actually pay attention to this dialogue because I think it is new dialogue. I think I just missed something last time. But yeah, I'll consider this stuff when we talk about the Amaterasu. Maybe we'll talk about the Tsukuyomi a little bit too this weekend. Hypothetically, probably nothing. Yeah. It really just depends on the context of how it's used, I think, as well. Sorry, it says I'm back. I'm back. Welcome back. Playing Palia, so my attention is split because I'm with Friends campaign. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're having fun. Have you already finished Miles' quest? I don't think so. I thought I can't remember where we left off last time. I know we were in town, and then I thought in camp rather, and I thought we were supposed to go to the monolith. So I went there, and I went all the way up, and I found the chromatic Clair Obscur, and I defeated it and got the Picto, but I didn't find anything else there. So now I'm just coming back to camp to talk with more people. I think I missed something. I think I just forgot something. So if you happen to know, please let me know. I don't mind a little backseating at this point. Noko raised me, taught me, protected me. It's my turn to protect him. That's how it works. I love the cyclical nature of their relationship. That's really cool. Tired exhale. I was supposed to go see Alicia. Right, I thought Alicia was on top of the monolith, is she not? Why help me then if... For Verso and for you, my friend. Just give us many new beginnings. One a new beginning for you too.
Tu mérites un nouveau commencement,
Hmm.
si tu le souhaites, comme chacun d'entre nous. Et maintenant, viens ici.
Good puppy.
En cuillère, évidemment.
I love him so much. Such a good dog. Max, I thought his name was Monaco. I'm sorry. I do wonder why they decided to go with the sultry, like, romantic saxophone with reverb as their relationship theme. She's at the Reacher. What's the Reacher? Man, I am like totally out of it tonight. I'm sorry. They spent more time together being weird and sentimental before returning to the others. I don't even remember what the Reacher is. I'm sorry. Oh, do you mean like in the mansion at the top floor?
Maëlle.
J'en ai plus qu'assez que tout le monde me dise de rentrer à la maison. Alors n'insiste pas, s'il te plaît.
Très bien, comme tu voudras.
Ils comptent tous sur moi ici. Alors je ne les laisserai pas tomber. Et je refuse de t'abandonner toi aussi.
Promise Violet to help her find Alicia. She's with the last axon west of the monolith on top of the tower. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's go do that. West of the monolith on top of the tower. Okay. West of the monolith, top of the tower. Yeah, I wonder if you're thinking of like Pal World, Darth Magog, because there's a game called Pal World which was also quite similar to. It's like a. They called it Pokemon with guns, right? Okay, so on top of the tower, west of the, so is it over here? Well, this is west, right? Let's see. Oh, the Reacher. It was literally on the map. Jesus Christ. Have I mentioned that I haven't been sleeping well because I can't fucking breathe? I hope this isn't gross or TMI for anybody, but like I've been like how do you say? Quite like I had a crackling sound that was constantly being made when I exhaled, so it was pretty upsetting for a little while there. And so I'm very much like catching up on sleep and everything. Okay. Oh, right. I think I remember now. She's like kind of standing out in the middle of the... Yeah, okay. Probably is more of a farming sim. Oh my god. Apparently my literacy has been declining along with my lack of sleep. Maybe we haven't come here, actually. This looks new. Mm-hmm. Harvest Moon, but with hunting elves magic. Oh, that sounds cool. Is it kind of like Stardew Valley at all? Have you played Stardew? Notice I call it Stardew, like a cool kid.
Un autre accent? Comment se fait-il qu'il soit si grand?
Elle était plus petite avant, mais elle rêvait d'atteindre les étoiles.
Papa et ses paraboles.
Parabole?
Parabole?
Il ne meurt jamais juste pour peindre. Avec lui, tout doit avoir plusieurs niveaux de sens, avec un but très précis. Il doit y avoir une leçon.
That makes sense.
Et quelle est la leçon ici?
L'espoir.
Alice. Ma sœur est au sommet.
Et papa sait que j'ai le vertige.
I can't. So yeah, it's something I want to think about a little bit more. Is I can't believe, or no, that's not the right way to put it. It's surprising to me that there is still so much like very important content.
Elle qui tente d'attraper le ciel.
Je déteste grimper.
God, I already love this music, man. Oh my god. There's clearly a lot of very important a lot of very important a lot of very important content that's quite pivotal to our characters that was very easy to miss. Like, if you were wrapped up in the narrative, and you were just like, okay, clearly there's like a time pressure here to go fuck with Renoir back in town, and we should be going there now. You would have missed all of this stuff, which is pretty weird. Like, there's clearly, this is not just like some throwaway environment. This is clearly very carefully designed, very important, right? So it's even got its own unique soundtrack, I think. Sounds new. Can't believe it's not butter. I've never actually tried that. Is it any good? Also, these things look a little too human for comfort. Look at those arms. They just look very humanoid. Somehow I don't think this is going to take us too long. So that's probably critical path, right? So I should go back and go up that side path before we proceed. I probably don't need to be murdering literally everything I see, but, you know, just staying consistent. You never tried it either, TBH. I have a feeling we're probably not missing much. I'm a little pissed that Olivio doesn't exist because, at least I can't find it anymore. Maybe it's sequestered away somewhere. But, like, my mom used to make this amazing soup that used Olivio as its instead of butter. And I have been able to, like, I looked forever. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, like, before she passed away, I actually kind of made this as a joke to my mom. I'm like, when she was still alive, a couple years before she passed away, I was like, Mom, you gotta give me the recipe for my grandma's soup, because I can't, like, the shit tastes so fucking good, and one of these days, like, you're gonna die and I'm not gonna have the recipe, and I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Because as an atheist, if there is a heaven, I'm not getting in. And so if you go there, I'm never gonna figure out how to eat that soup ever again. So you better give it to me. And she was like, no, I don't want to. Why are you being so morbid about it? Like, I just won't die. And I'm like, yeah, sure you will. But in the meantime, just as a backup, just in case, I don't know, something happens, you need to give me this fucking soup recipe. So, like, for years, it was like a little in-joke, like a morbid joke. I don't know if this is funny to anybody else. But, like, eventually she did give it to me. And then, sadly, she passed away a couple of years later, and I lost the fucking recipe. Like, she gave it to me on this shitty little piece of paper, and I couldn't find it. Or no, I'm sorry, it was on a hard drive for an old computer, and I lost it and got lost in storage, and I thought I was done. I thought I was never going to be able to find it ever again. And then I finally found it about a year ago. I was doing this massive cleanup of all these old files and stuff, and I finally found it, and it relies on Olivio, and I can't fucking find any Olivio. So, you know, first world problems, obviously. This is a very silly thing to be upset about. But, like, I feel like I got the flavor. I've made it, like, 20 times. Maybe more like 10 times over the past year or so. Yeah, probably more like 10 times. And each time it gets a little bit closer to how I remember it tasting nostalgically. But I can't get it quite there because I don't have the fucking Olivio. So, I'm so pissed. Oh, interesting. This is so fucking cool, this level, this story. So this is such a tiny like, doesn't even matter detail, but like because I am such a nitpicky asshole and I've had to be at work lately, I had this little thought that it would be kind of nice if when Maya's hair changes to white, if her portrait when she's talking, you know, like the little profile picture, if it changed to white hair as well. But that's just me. Let's see. Ryoman says, I think Apollo beat Noodles easily. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like the last time we talked, you said the other way around. You thought that Apollo um, lost to Noodles pretty handily, but then I think you said you were gonna go back and rewatch the debate. So if that's the case, yeah, I'm curious to hear like what changed your mind, or if maybe I'm oh, that's actually super powerful. If I'm remembering things correctly, yeah, I think like the thing is like it's premature to say, like, I know that I was edgy in the comments and I say like Noodles lost after the first 10 minutes or whatever, but like or maybe that was on the Bubbles debate, I don't remember. But basically, like the problem that I have with that debate is that we never actually got to hear Apollo scaling. So for all I know, all of his like positive arguments could be complete bogus. We'll never know because we didn't get there because Noodles left, right? It's unfortunate. Um, but as for like as I'm sure you saw from the, if you checked out that stream, which I think you were there for, right? Uh, there is just like an insane amount of just factually incorrect and unsubstantiated things that were said, that it just like doesn't even, on Noodles' behalf, that basically all Apollo had to do was be like, prove it, and then when the proof was not forthcoming, just be like, okay, so now I'll say something. um yeah, I in my experience with Noodles, and also talking to some other people, having debates with certain other people, um there's a bit of a double standard where it's like they like, Seth is a perfect example of this. Like they don't want to engage with skepticism when it's coming their way, and they're actually extremely condescending and like outright hostile and mad about it. Like they have a very bitter, awful disdain for skepticism in general, or what they think skepticism is, which is usually not actually what it is. But then, like, when somebody comes at them with a certain argument, then they'll be like, "Oh, well, that could just be because X, Y, or Z, so that doesn't count, right?" Like, they use an egregious level of double standards to be like, "Well, as long as I can personally imagine a potential counter to what you're saying, then I don't have to entertain what you said." But then the moment that somebody does that to them, they're like, "You're just being skeptical. You're just playing the skeptic," and so like they try to invalidate it that way. I think I just went around in a circle, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I think I just went around in a circle. Sorry. Let me get back on track here. So let's see. Information wise, it was inconclusive because Apollo didn't prove Pain wins. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who won more points, etc. Yeah, I think that like, am I going the wrong way? I'm so confused. Clearly not on my A game tonight. Sorry, guys. But yeah. Wait, no. I came up this way. It's just the level looks similar. Okay, I'm supposed to be going up. So yeah, I ran past here. I think this is correct. We'll find out soon. Unless there's anything down here. No, I already checked down there. Okay. We just gotta keep going up. Yeah, no, I don't blame you, Magog, for not being able to get through it. I don't think there was a scoring system. I think, as far as I know, and like again, I don't know for sure. This seems suspicious. No, I don't know for sure, but like it's basically just they have a panel of judges, and the judges decide who they think wins. I don't know how their system works, so I've never really looked into it. I love all like the rickety, creaky, like background sound elements. This whole place. Wait, no, this is where I was before, right? Because this was like the bonus area that I came up after I broke the blue barrier. Okay, I've totally turned myself around here. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I must have missed another path up. I'll go back and check. Sorry about that. Was there even a scoring system? Oh yeah, I recently figured out, says Roman, how to argue against extreme skepticism like that. Oh yeah, I'd love to know, because frankly, like, yeah, like I said before, I don't consider myself to be a really good debater. Like, I think if I'm talking with a friend, I do think I have a pretty good ability. Always could get better, but I think I have a pretty good ability to like break down arguments and identify where there's some problems, right? I think, like, I don't, like, again, maybe this is too political or whatever, but I don't know anything about the Israel-Palestine conflict, not really. So I've been trying to learn. I've been trying to listen to debates on the subject and then, like, go look things up when I'm curious or skeptical about something. What I found is that, like, I I am pretty decent, I think, at being able to be like, well, that seems like a logical fallacy. That seems unfair. That seems like an assumption. This person in the debate is using rhetoric more so than using facts, and just being able to identify some of that stuff. But if I was actually there in a debate, like, I don't know if you guys know Mehdi Hassan, I don't know if you've seen any of his debates, but like, if I was debating either against him or if I was in his place against the people he debates against, I would probably be like, the moment people started shouting, I'd be like, hey man, why don't we just get along? You know what? It's not that big of a deal. Let's all go out for ice cream. Like, Israel, Palestine, let's get everybody ice cream. It's just like, what are we worried so much about? Like, I don't have that, I don't get the dog in me the same way. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't have the practice, I guess, or the fortitude right now to be able to, like, really chase down that victory, which I actually am okay with. Like, I don't really value competition in that way, and I thought about it for a while. I thought, like, maybe I should toughen up, and maybe I should, like, spend more skill points or whatever on being a better debater. I just don't think it's me. I would much rather, like, just have conversations. I'll post after this. I was just watching a really, really cool debate where there was like a well, it's not even a debate. It was something, I think, on a channel called The Enemy Project, and it was a pro-Zionist Jew and an anti-Zionist Jew who obviously had very differing views on what's happening in Gaza, but even though they were, like, if you looked at their views on paper, you might assume that they would be enemies. In reality, once they actually started the conversation, it didn't get heated, it didn't get personal. Like, the other person is just like, tell me, I think one of the questions that came up was, one person asked the other, what do you find most beautiful in life? And the other person was like, just being with my family and, like, sitting on the beach and watching the sunset with friends and being close with people. And then the other person was just like, let me picture that. And he, like, closed his eyes, I think, and or it sounded like he did. I was just listening to the audio, and he was basically like, yeah, I just want to inhabit that space with you for a moment and understand where you're coming from. And they stopped talking about their disagreements for a second, and they just literally talked about, like, their family and their hopes and their dreams. And, like, a minute ago, like, they might have been saying something along the lines of ooh, that's actually really good. I should put that on Verso in a second. But yeah, like, they were just like, okay, I want to understand you. I want to understand what you think is beautiful and why. I want to understand how that vision of beauty that you have fits in with your views on the world in general, right? They just stopped fighting and just understood each other for a while. And they might walk away from that conversation bitter enemies, and never reconcile. They might be on opposite sides of a war. I hope not, but that might happen someday. But for that moment, they just put all that shit aside, and they were, like, able to get each other. And I found that little moment, just taking that second and asking the question, like, what do you find beautiful and why? Like, what resonates with you? Help me understand that. Like, that was so fucking impressive. I was like, how are you that good, man? Like, how did you do that? How did you put aside your anger and frustration and your conviction? Because, like, he very clearly was very passionate and very, I think, hurt by some of the things that were being said. He obviously has a lot of compassion and care for people that are being harmed by the conflict. And so I'm sure, based on what I've seen, there's a fire in him that wants to, I don't want to speak for another person, but it just seemed to me that, like, you could imagine this person being like, I want to take a stand, I want to fight, I want to yell, I want to scream for what I think is just and unjust. But it was able to push that aside, even if it was there, and just exist with another human being for a second. Oh my God, that was so fucking cool. It was, like, the coolest thing I've seen in a debate. As much as I love, like, atheist owns, like, religious weirdo with facts and logic and whatever, like, as much as I grew up in that brine, so to speak, and I do enjoy a good old hitch slap from time to time. If you know, you know. That's not really all that impressive to me anymore. That's easy, you know. Like, it's easy to just look up a debunk to something and then say that out loud while having a smarmy expression on your face and like an arrogant tone in your voice. That's easy now. Anybody can do that. But really connecting, really like taking a moment to engage like that, that's extremely, extremely impressive and rare. So that being said, like I would actually love to do a debate at some point, because I'd like to see, based on like when I debated Noodles a couple years ago, based on when I not exactly debated but had my chats with Sage, I want to see if like I've gotten better with my knowledge, and I want to see personally if I'm able to maintain a peaceful and productive conversation for longer than I was before. Just to, and I also want to see if I can do a better job of clearing up misconceptions and resolving differences instead of trying to win or lose. I would like to try, but if being a successful debater and like getting across my points, winning, if that requires me to become yet another person who's like, um, you know, specifically investing skill points in aggressive victory chasing. Honestly, that's not what I'm good at. That's not what I'll ever be very good at. And I will leave that to other people to do, you know. Anyway, let me stop talking for a second. Um, Sorry, said, I honestly learned that a lot of people don't like evidence in the Zelda community either, but I choose to behave like Lindhart in that case. You know, I'm going to agree with you just so I don't have to keep talking. Yeah, it's the whole agree to disagree thing, or it's just like the acknowledgement of, so I ran into this at work today. Like, I've been advocating for a certain thing at work for a long time. I think there's a major problem that needs to change. I've been trying very, very hard to get it fixed. And today, you know, for today, I was just like, okay, this is the last time I'm going to bring this up. You know, I'm going to try. I'm going to make my case. I'm going to do whatever I can to try and get it across. And they didn't listen. They didn't care. They weren't interested in hearing it. So I was like, okay, you know what? At this point, it's out of my hands. I'm still here to help you if you want. I'll volunteer my time. But also, I am not going to fight you on this when you clearly aren't even like hearing me. So fuck it. You know, I didn't say fuck it. I was at work, but you know, at a certain point, you have to also just like protect your own emotional investment. If you're getting emotionally exhausted, beating your head against a wall, it's like, not to sound arrogant, but it's their loss. You know, like they don't want to engage. And this is gonna sound a little cocky, I guess, but I do mean it sincerely. Like, I think it's the loss of people like Noodles to not listen to people more. I think it's their loss if they're like genuinely, I learned something from him. I think he could have learned something from me if he just like kept his shit together and didn't act so immature. Same thing with Sage. I think that like I definitely learned things from him. I think he could have learned more from me if he wasn't so head ass about the apologetics of certain topics. And I know that sounds rude. I don't mean to, but like yeah, like I think the baseline approach of this is going to be inherently adversarial. This is a competition with the rules. This is a bout that like poisons the whole conversation from the get go. And just like if you set that aside and just try to figure things out together, you know, it's so much better. Like we just wind up all growing together instead of this like pissing contest shit. So anyway, none of this has anything to do with Clair Obscur, but it does have to do with game dev because man, like I've been running into so much, on the one hand like so many egos, and then on the other hand so much like apathy and dejection in the games industry right now. There's just like, I think, I don't mean this as an offensive statement to anybody who has kids, but I've noticed recently that any game developer that has kids is willing to only deal with a certain amount of bullshit because at the end of the day they have something more important to deal with, and they just like don't really want to push too hard on anything. And so that's great. They have their own limits. I don't have kids. I'm not going to have kids. No disrespect to people who do. But I'm like, you know, I'm the guy who doesn't really have anything else to do. So at the end of the day, so I'm going to keep pushing on it. And it's just like, there's two different paradigms, you know, like this particular studio I'm working at now. A lot of the people are older. They have other things to do. They're not like in their early 20s or late teens or whatever, like fighting to prove themselves anymore. They're just like, yeah, whatever, this is a job. And it's like, fuck, okay, it's kind of hard to work with that sometimes. And that applies to the Naruto stuff too. That's my number one gripe with the community is just like people don't care enough. I want people to care more and be more curious, more open-minded. That's it. If I could change one thing about the community, that's it, right? But you can't make somebody care. At least I don't know how to do it. Anyway, let me catch up on chat and then I'll actually get back to playing the fucking video game. Magog says about 2 hours ago, sorry, I don't see how skepticism is a bad thing. Something is either demonstrable or it's not. Yeah, exactly. Like, I 100% agree. Skepticism, I think skepticism can potentially be toxic if weaponized, but that's true of anything. I mean, like, you can, this is a stupid analogy, but you can die from, like, overdosing on water, even though water is essential for life, right? So, like, if you show up somewhere and you basically, like, fold your skepticism in a disagreement with somebody into persistent, endless arguments from incredulity, like, well, I don't think so, I don't know, that doesn't seem right to me, right? Like, that's not contributing anything. And I think that people like Noodles, Seth, whoever, don't understand skepticism, think that when other people are asking them for proof, that that's what they're doing. They're just being like, nah, I don't know, I don't really like that. Nah. And people do that as well, and that is, do. I'm an adult. And, you know, it's annoying when that happens because it doesn't feel like the other person is, like, really engaging with you. But at the same time, you know, science doesn't exist without skepticism, and I am not talking to you right now without science. Like, without people being skeptical and curious and inquisitive, we don't get the technology that we have. So it is essential. I know that it does result in us having to confront our ego and, like, admit when we're wrong about shit. Gasp! No, we can't do that, especially if we're men. We can't admit that we're wrong about things. But, like, fuck it. Like, anyway, I didn't want to get off on a whole thing, but yeah, I agree with you, is what I'm trying to say. Riotman says, extremely often applied in questioning the most obvious things. Oh, I see. It's not extreme, but usually dishonest and power scaling arguments. Yeah, so, like I said, it can be, right? It can be weaponized. It can be, like, used in a disingenuous way. But at its core, it's essential and it's very important. It just needs to be used right? It's not that difficult to argue against it, sometimes just exhausting. Yeah, I can definitely sympathize with that. Like, if you're going up against somebody and they just refuse to acknowledge what you're saying, and they're just like, well, I don't think that's true, I don't think that's true, and they don't actually provide anything meaningful to you, then that can be frustrating. But it's also important to recognize that, like, oftentimes when I see people get frustrated about that, it's like they'll say something that they think is a safe assumption. And I think their hope is, let's all just, like, not worry too much about this because it's obvious, right? It's intuitive, right? And sometimes the other person will be like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Sure, let's not worry about it. But if you're in a competition and you're building a whole series of arguments around that assumption, then it's totally fair for the other person to be like, oh, I don't know. Like, you have to actually prove that. I'm not just willing to assume it. And also, in general, if you want to develop a deep understanding of something, you have to be willing to ask those questions, as inconvenient or annoying as they might be. Everybody has their limits, and that's fine. But, like, you know, not being willing to entertain the questions at all doesn't get anybody anywhere. Darth Magog says, you know, I'd like to agree with that, but after I spent time in the industries I've worked in, I've never surprised by any level of ignorance. That is true. You know, it's so many things that I thought were, like, unique quirks of the games industry. When I talk to other people, it's like, no, every industry is broken. Nobody knows how to do anything. It's a miracle that anything ever gets accomplished, because I don't think there is such a thing as, like, even an organization such as the military doesn't run with the so-called military efficiency. Like, if you listen to, I don't want to, again, speak for anybody else, but, like, the stories that I've heard of people who have been in the service, like, coming back and telling us about, like, the complete disarray and insanity and disconnect from reality that is pervasive even in the industry or the field that is supposed to be about diligence and rigor and exactness. Obviously, it's not everybody, but yeah, it's like we humans are very, very flawed and messy and goofy and silly. So it's only natural that everything we do is going to be super fucky. But we're failing upwards. Slowly but surely, sometimes violently, but yeah, we're getting there. I'd like to remain optimistic if I can. Sorry, I said my grandma's crying. Oh no, I'm sorry. Your grandma's crying because your sister used an AI thing to bring an old picture and dad to life. And honestly, the fact that made her happy. Okay, that's good. Happy to see her dad pick her up again is awesome. Yeah. So, funny enough, I actually tried that with like an older picture of myself and my partner, and I found it deeply disturbing. Like if it was like some kind of weird uncanny valley thing, because something that looked 95% like me was doing something that I never did, right? Like granted I was there with my partner, but then like the animation had us like kiss, like I kissed her on the forehead or something, and I like she did like a little bow or something. It's like I I don't look like that when I do that. This is wrong. Like what the something in my head flared like an animal fear, that I just had this fear of like the idea of technology like impersonating you, to me is like really creepy and gross, and I don't know how else to describe it. Oh, sorry. Actually, before I forget, can you guess what this is the sound of? I apologize if this is super loud. Obviously, I don't know how to play it yet, but it finally got here. I am very, very excited to start learning some songs. So thank you for the inspiration, and hopefully I'll be able to maybe jam out with you remotely at some point. Once I really want to learn some songs from Wind Waker, and of course from Ocarina of Time, because obviously Ocarina of Time, and obviously I got the one that's blue with the Triforce logo. Obviously I had to, you know. So I want to get a bass one too. Yeah, Ocarina, exactly. Yes, exactly. So yeah, I want to get a bass ocarina, but I figured that this one would be like the good introduction to playing, like the workhorse one, right? But yeah, that's really cool. I'll be curious to know if you delve more into the world of AI art. I actually got a very passionate criticism on my Itachi versus Pain video against the use of AI art that I used, and like I took it as like constructive criticism. I wasn't offended or anything, but yeah, the guy was like, "I consider it deeply unethical that you used AI for this at all. You really shouldn't have done that." I think the comments are still up if you guys want to see exactly what he said. But yeah, some people feel very strongly about it. I'm curious to see how the discourse evolves. Rioman says, I'm currently extremely famous in the writing comparison community. Oh, that's cool. A community where people compare writing quality of characters in series. It's actually extremely funny because the same way in power scaling, people do ego battles about who's better at debating. In this community, people do ego battles about who understands. See, I like that more, actually. I mean, like, personally, I don't like the ego battles at all. But if the battle leads to a deeper understanding and then that gets tested, there is such a thing as healthy competition. You know, like I'm not objecting to competition overall. So yeah, that makes sense. It's extremely funny. Yeah, it does. Does seem like it would be funny to see. Which is worse? Oh, shut your bitch ass up, your beef ass up. Hatred. Yeah. Well, now let's get back to the extremely clear lore that I totally perfectly understand and have no questions about whatsoever. Which is worse, to die or be the one who survives, to grieve or to be grieved? I don't know. I feel like him in character would say this. Some might say that's lucky, not simply because you survived, but because you had the opportunity to care deeply for another. I find myself grieving before they've even passed, grieving what could have been, grieving what is to come. She'll never forgive herself, she'll carry her scars with her always. Would that I could ease her burden. So that's Renoir, right? Should know this, I'm sorry. Roman says this competition is toxic as well. I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's a bunch of people calling each other fake readers, and to explain some aspect of someone's character because it can expose the other person's lack of knowledge through the series, and thus illiteracy or media literacy. Yeah, I mean, like again, I feel like it's an opportunity for. I like the idea of having the opportunity to test your knowledge and understanding, and then for it to be a that that's actually kind of huge there. I'm gonna have to equip somebody with that later. Um, but yeah, just to be like I like the idea of there's something kind of fun about the idea of like preparing arguments and putting it together and being like imagining the chess game playing out in your head of like, okay, if I make this argument they'll do this and then I'll counter with that, and then just testing it to see like how good you are, right? Like, because that can help. I think that is one of the benefits of competition, is just like getting a better sense of where you as a person, um where your limits are, how your technique is, and where it can be improved and stuff. And then if you can learn more, then you can share that knowledge and learning with other people, and vice versa. And the idea is that you keep growing and keep getting better, right? Like, if a rivalry of that nature can actually be extremely positive, I think. But it's the onion, so to speak, is like, how do you um, do that without breeding
Appréciable.
contempt? Um, I actually like, personally, I hate the character from Whiplash. Like, I haven't seen the whole movie, but every clip that I've seen, if you guys know what I'm talking about, like, and also Gordon Ramsay, like that kind of archetype. I used to more admire and respect it, but now I'm like, you know, there's a way to be competitive, and there's a way to encourage competition in other people without terrorizing them and like abusing them and like doing all that other toxic shit, you know. It's not that there's only one way to do this sort of thing. Do I think Light Yagami would get caught in real life? I think probably his arrogance would get the better of him eventually, and he would make a mistake. Um, but I do think that, like, you know, Light, or sorry, L figured him out like extremely quickly, um, and I think that so basically, from my perspective, uh, Light kind of starts off with a pretty massive disadvantage, you know. Yeah, the movie Whiplash, yeah, exactly. Um, so, shit, I shouldn't, let me try this. So yeah, I do think that, like, it probably, not necessarily, but probably would be the case that, Light would get much farther in real life. But I think that, like, the whole point, right, is that if he actually, like, calmed the fuck down and paced himself a little bit more, and wasn't so like wrapped up in the glee of his victory, then I think he probably could have, like, if he took more breaks, and if he um okay, so I'm gonna use a non-canon example, which is maybe gonna be a little bit goofy, but have you seen the, like, Columbo solves the Death Note case or whatever, and it starts off with like Light like cackling like a fucking maniac in front of L's grave? Like, obviously that is not, like, he didn't get caught for doing that in canon, but that right there kind of epitomizes to me, like, Light's weakness, in the same way that Pain, right, like, you could argue that they would, from a certain perspective, you could argue that it was sort of inevitable that Pain was going to lose when he attacked Konoha, because his lose condition was already built in, right? Like, if he was 100% committed to his cause, if he had no self-doubt, if he was not arrogant, if he didn't, like, waste time interrogating people with the Naraka path and stuff like that, right? If he was 100% just, like, fully locked in, then he would have won easily. If he didn't delegate his authority to all of those different Akatsuki members, if he actually did everything himself, you know, kind of like Sasuke was describing how he wanted to do towards the end, he could have defeated every single one of the Jinchuriki and consolidated the power himself. The only thing maybe he wouldn't have been able to do as well would be, like, draining the chakra. Like, he seemed to need help to drain the chakra into the ghetto statue efficiently, so maybe that's something he needed help with. But, you know, and like scouting and gathering resources and stuff like that, like, obviously time management, he needed to delegate his authority. But at the same time, like, in terms of the actual abilities, the actual skills, well, it's just really fucking cool. I love this. Yeah, there's nothing stopping him at all from totally dominating things himself. Is this just a shortcut back down? I think so. This is where we were before, right? I hate the Decentres. You really fucking hate the Decentres, don't you? Set my L. All of them can go to hell. It's Set my L. I don't know. Vessel's kind of growing on me. He's a little scamp. Mm. Well, technically, Monaco is a dishonor as well, right? Like, as he was their doggo, so he's a member of their family. I feel like I need to pay more attention because I keep getting lost. I don't even know where I am anymore. But I'm guessing... No, no, thank you. Yeah, I feel like that was the shortcut there with the balloon, right? Yeah, this platform... Yeah, okay, so we already did this. Let's go back. There's something so, like, weirdly soothing about, like, the creaking and straining of the ropes and the wood and all that. Yeah, the movie Whiplash. Yeah, so the music professor in Whiplash, that movie resonates with me quite a bit because I went to music conservatory in Italy for a while, and while I was there, there was there's a very strict, very traditionalist kind of paradigm, which I think I've talked to you guys about before on stream, which is basically like all of the greatest music in the world has already been written. There's no way you're ever going to top the masters. If you interact with classical music, it's a privilege for the elite. You are lucky to be here, and you have to earn your stripes by basically doing things exactly the right way. There's very little room for innovation. Precision and dedication is all that really matters, and like your worth as a person is going to be, considered, weighed, evaluated in large part based on how much of yourself you throw into it, right? So like, you think it's impressive that you practice for 4 hours a day. Sure, it's impressive until you find out that the next guy practiced for 6 hours a day and the next guy practiced for 8. And it's about like not even the quality, so I studied there for like 8 years or so, and then I came to the States, and I had a cello teacher who worked with me and took me like a month or two to get me to understand how to express myself. He like kept asking me questions like, how do you feel? I was playing cello, right? So how do you feel that what that the musician wanted his ideas to be expressed? How do you feel about like the tone of the music and what emotion is trying to play? Like, where should you pause for a breath? Where should you emphasize? Where should you strike hard? I'm like, you could be speaking a made up language to me right now. Nothing that you said makes sense because there was no room for any of that. It's like you have a specific task to execute. You either do it in the right way or you are a worthless piece of fucking human degenerate scum filth. Every single mistake. Oh shit, I missed it. Oh, fuck. Every single thing that you do to I love it. Amused exasperation as a parenthetical. That's great. Every single thing that you do, every mistake that you make that is not up to par, you are disgracing the entire legacy of all the musicians who have come before you. Johann Sebastian, like I was literally told by teachers that X, Y, or Z musician was rolling over in their grave. And as a kid who actually believed in the afterlife and stuff like that, I thought that when I, like for a while, I thought that when I was making mistakes with my music or even just experimenting and trying new things, I was literally offending the memory of the people that I was inspired by. It's so fucking toxic. It's such a bullshit. And this, attitude of like, the more you suffer, the more you care. It's like, come on. Music doesn't just have to be about that. And it wound up kind of coming across to me as like a very specific kind of personality trying to have a stranglehold monopoly over human expression. It's like you guys have to go to therapy. This is not how well-adjusted people work. Ooh, interesting.
De perfection, mais existe-t-elle réellement? Ou n'est-ce qu'une chimère, une sirène dont le chant cherche à nous attirer? Je prédis sans le moindre doute possible que nous ne parviendrons ni toi ni moi à gravir ce sommet. Mais je m'en moque tant que nous faisons la route ensemble. L'art nous confère une impression de contrôle. Pendant quelques instants, lorsque je peins, j'arrive à trouver l'ordre au cœur du chaos. Et c'est pour moi un moment de Sensation qui vaut bien plus à mes yeux que la plus grande des perfections.
Yeah, that actually reads to me as being much better representative of art than anything I was taught at like the school of art that I was going to, you know what I mean? Um I had to learn how to I had to learn that it was okay to even try to emotionally express yourself through music, which is so fucking weird to think about, right? From a music conservatory to impart that paradigm is like so fucking weird when you break it down. Anyway, I'm like way off topic. Let me catch up on chat really quick. Um, Darth Mako says, on the subject of the Akatsuki, who had the dumbest plan, do you think? Um, well, I'll say that the one that I'm most confused by is Nagato's because, like, on the surface, what he supposedly wanted to do was achieve world domination by gathering all the power of the Biju and creating like a nuclear weapon um, to threaten and scare the rest of the world. Um, but at the end of the day, like, I guess he should have probably known the entire time. Like, I don't actually know if this is true, but it seems weird to me that he wasn't. I can't imagine that he didn't know anything about Tsukinome, right? Like, he must have known what Obito was really up to. So he wanted to control the world to make it better and end cycles of violence, specifically by creating like forced empathy through shared pain. But in doing so, he was, oh, that's interesting. Oh, cool. He was directly in service of and like subservient to. Can I not go in there? Let me in. Let me in. um and directly subservient to like this person who specifically wanted to take away people's free will and separate them from each other in completely different worlds. So it's like, how clueless was he, or how confused or gullible or manipulatable? I think like Kishimoto does try to address that by saying later that everybody was manipulated by quote unquote Madara, aka Obito, by the darkness in their hearts. So it was like they were being controlled like puppets on strings by Obito manipulating the darkness within them. But still, it's that is a really weird thing to me, that Pain wouldn't be aware of the contradiction there. That being said, personally, I think that there is this isn't a plot hole or anything, but there's obviously a massive contradiction in what Nagato says to Naruto versus what he actually does. He's like, I want to stop pain from happening. Naruto, if you kill me, you will just be perpetuating the cycle of pain and violence. So you can't do that. It would be hypocritical for you to do that. But I am going to kill you, and I'm going to kill a bunch of people you love, because if I can just create the most amount of pain on the widest scale, then that will somehow be a correct solution to the to all of the pain and suffering that came before it. And I think that the idea of ending a cycle of something that you abhor and resist and want to end by doing the same thing that is intrinsic to that cycle, just on a more massive scale than that's ever been done before, is really, really dumb. But I think that, like, the point is that Pain got lost in the sauce, right? Is that he kind of succumbed to the fanaticism inherent to his ideology, and he also believed his own hype too much with being a god and all that. He stopped being willing to listen to reason and like being willing to see nuance and to compromise and to like work things out. And Naruto pointed that out, that he basically let himself become the same sort of monster that had terrorized him in the past. So he was a hypocrite, and Naruto helped expose that hypocrisy, and that's ultimately what kind of brought his whole thing crashing down. Let's see. So for Madara though, like, I actually think he was misguided. He was goofy, and I don't agree with obviously with his choice. But overall, I think that between him, Obito, and Pain, he was probably the wisest. I say that with a big caveat, and that I think he understood better. Like Obito and Nagato were kind of like partially understanding his ideology, but Madara was the person who fully got it. He was like the master and they were the apprentices, right? And I think the fact that he was like going that extra step further to specifically put people in a dream world, right? And to craft that world, to basically like put them in the Matrix, I think is a better solution. Like, I'm not saying that it's a good solution, but basically putting everybody into a comfortable slumber and watching over them, as opposed to trying to terrify them and causing more pain and destruction, like in principle, is a better idea. Of course, Madara, due to his own hypocrisy and arrogance, like winds up doing some of the same stuff that Pain does, also because he's just like kind of bloodthirsty and wants to, you know, he has his own selfish, arrogant, egotistical desires to like maintain his battles and his like weird, horny, like Fight Club relationship with Hashirama and all that. So I don't think he's good, to be clear. I do think like he has his own downfall that's his own doing. But overall, his solution is a bit more nuanced and I think more future-proof than Pain's. I think that there was a time in my life where I considered him kind of like a benevolent dictator, and there is a naive part of me that is like, you know, I think to a certain extent, okay, I'm gonna get super edgy, and I'm probably gonna regret recording this, but fuck it. There is a part of me that I don't super validate, but there's a part of me that's like, I don't know if we're ready for democracy. You know, like I think democracy is the best solution that we have at the moment, and we can't like maybe some form of like I think probably a new form of government that takes elements of democracy and socialism and communism maybe and makes something new and better is needed. But and capitalism is bad, obviously, but like at the same time, democracy in and of itself, just the idea that like the largest number of people get to choose what's right for you know, an entire society, is really risky. It's necessary in a sense because we have to give people an equal voice, equal rights, equal expression, and have them each feel like they can individually participate in their culture and their society. It's essential. We can't get rid of that. But at the same time, like, if in a given society people are just uneducated or confused, or, you know, like they've been the victim of propaganda or manipulation or whatever, like most people in the United States probably aren't qualified to actually make a policy decision about climate change. I say that including myself. I took science classes. I studied this in the past. I care about empiricism and stuff like that, but I can't actually explain climate change on a scientific level. I am not, as an individual, really qualified to make any adult decisions about it. I don't really fully understand the biology of like sex and gender to the level that I should, right? Obviously, I can advocate for policies and positions that protect people and give people equal rights and fair treatment and acknowledge their identities. In other words, I'm pro-trans rights, I'm pro-human rights. Like, I'm not, I'm pro-LGBTQ, I'm queer myself, obviously. But at the same time, like, the idea that the masses are just going to like numerically get things right, there's a problem with that, because it relies on the majority of people having their own best interests at hearts, having like an accurate understanding of the world, and being capable of making informed, correct decisions and mature decisions. And frankly, like, we're all goofy, messy idiots. Like, very few of us actually have the knowledge to really make those decisions from a genuinely informed expert perspective, because being an expert on anything is really, really hard and takes a really long time. So I think the idea is, okay, obviously we elect representatives, we elect people that supposedly know more about things than we do, we trust them, we place our we empower them to make decisions for us as our representatives. That's a nice idea, but that also hinges on them not being corrupt and them having our best interests at hearts, and that's obviously hugely flawed as well. So there's a very naive part of me, and I want to acknowledge for the record that this will not work. this doesn't work. We tried it before plenty of times. It doesn't work. There is a small part of me, though, that wishes that a genuinely benevolent dictator would come along, like some kind of demigod who's actually good, who actually does have humanity's best interest at heart, and can just like take the reins for a while, like basically be like a god should be. Like, you guys don't get it yet. You can't handle your shit yet. So these are the rules that you need to follow. Here's how I'm going to enforce them, and here's how I'm going to fix things. Just for a little while, just for a few centuries to kind of get things on track, and then we can go back to our ways, right? And as a kid, when I came across Madara's proposed solution, there was a part of me that's like, you know what, fuck it. Like, if giving up our free will mean an end to wars, will mean an end to like genocide and racial prejudice, if it'll mean an end to like apartheid and any number, like child abuse, any number of horrible things in the world, if we have to give up our free will for a while for that to happen, it's a horrible trade. Free will is such like a fundamentally important part of our human soul, for lack of a better word. But that might be a trade-off. That might be something to consider. That if like a genuinely benevolent dictator came along and took away our freedom in order to make the world right, there is a certain allure to that. Of course, there's a major fucking problem, which is that benevolent dictator has to be genuinely benevolent. And if they're a human being, then they have to like be better than any person who's ever existed before. And this is where I think I can relate to Christians in a certain sense, because I think that's how they see Jesus, right? That's how they see God. They see Jesus and God as that force, as something that is human but more than human. That is, Jesus is like a member of humanity but also ascended and superior to humanity, and so he can provide us with that very same thing. Obviously, I don't agree with the stipulations of that dictatorship. I think that the Christian deity does not have the right idea of how to govern us. More on that a separate stream, maybe. But you see what I mean, right? Like, if somebody told me that, like, if I just put myself into the Matrix, I would give up my life as I know it, but also all wars would end indefinitely, I'd have to think about that. I'd have to consider it, because as much of a sacrifice that would be, there is something there, right? It's not a permanent solution. I just want to be very fucking clear, because like I don't think saying like a benevolent dictator is kind of like saying a square circle, or like a non-delicious pizza. Deliciousness is an inherent property of pizza. So, I mean, I guess if you put anchovies on it like a fucking barbarian, then yeah, you can ruin it. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that it's like the idea of there actually being a benevolent dictator is kind of fucked up, because like or like inherently flawed, because to like talk about Jon Snow as an example, I know it's such a meme in Game of Thrones, but the whole idea of like maybe the best king will be the person who doesn't want to be king, right? You have to think about I think my friend mentioned this to me, that like his perspective is that anybody who actually genuinely wants to have the amount of power that comes with being like the president probably shouldn't be the president, because nobody, like, I mean, it's maybe a cynical perspective, but nobody who desires power of that scale is probably that's not like a good thing to want actively for yourself. That's correlated with the whole absolute power corrupts absolutely thing. So anyway, look, I need to stop talking about this, but basically what I'm trying to say is that I think part of Madara's philosophy, there is some good to it. He has a naive but understandable, relatable desire to basically be like, humans are incapable of bringing themselves true, lasting joy and peace. So I'm going to step in, I'm going to become a god, and I'm going to take care of them. It's going to involve a sacrifice, but it's going to be worth it. But he was naive, and he was blinded by his arrogance. He was too full of himself, and really, I think, more so than saving humanity, he was trying to heal his own suffering and reconcile his own like pain. And he happened to be adopting a path that he thought would also benefit other people and cure pain on a larger scale, but really he was doing so from a selfish place. So there was an inherent, like, again, contradiction or paradox about the way that he approached trying to solve the problems. There was hypocrisy that was deeply, like, dyed into him, into the wool of who he was, so to speak. So it was never going to work, right? Anyway, Clair Obscur. I love this guy. This is my new favorite guy. Hope we don't have to fight him. Oh, good. Okay.
J'ai le vertige, tu te rappelles?
The fact that
Ses intentions sont louables, je le sais, mais ses méthodes...
hey there, SWAT. I've been really enjoying the game. Sorry if you happen to
Tout est
stumble into my weird, like, out of character political rant there, but I've been absolutely fucking loving the game. It's one of my, like, top 10 for sure.
Fille unique.
Unique.
Cléa est l'aînée. Et elle est si parfaite, si accomplie et talentueuse. Préférée de papa, il est si fier d'elle. Et Verso. Verso avait le chic de faire rire papa. Ils plaisantaient tout le temps ensemble. Et puis il y a moi.
Oui, il y a toi. Vraie préférée. Celle qu'il appelle son étoile cachée, mais qui est trop timide et complexée pour le voir.
Étoile cachée. I love that.
Toujours là pour empirer les choses.
Ouvre les yeux. Il veut que tu déploies tes ailes.
Hmm. Oh, that was so clever. Did you guys notice in that last frame, just as it was fading out, you could see, like, the silhouette of that thing behind her, and it looked like she had grown wings, like this thing over here. That was so cool. I love that. God, they're so smart. And look at this, like, these articulated, like, vertebrae or whatever. The design of this thing is fucking cool too. God, like, they just keep impressing with more and more awesome designs. Does not sabotage it, builds. Nice. Yeah, they have the newspapers there. SWAT says, I did 2 runs of the game, loved it so much. Yeah, I really, really adore it. Both as, like, a player, I'm really inspired by the art. I find it super fun. I think it's overall very well balanced and enjoyable game. I think the story is great. I think that the characters are well realized, well acted. The sound design is great. The music is fucking phenomenal.
Voilà.
And then as a game developer, I'm very deeply inspired by everything they've accomplished, especially as I mean, I know they're veteran developers, but still, as their first, like, title under their name, like, this is an inspiration, like, legitimately. Yeah, let me let me catch up on chat. Hope I entertained you a little bit there with that Madara rant. But let's see. Scroll up a little bit. Let me resume. I hope I'm not missing too much here. Let me resume from when Darth Magog says Obito's was the least sensical to me. Yeah, Obito, I think, like, he was kind of, to my analysis, was kind of just, like, the most cynical. Like, Madara did think that I think had more of a vision for how he wanted the new world that he was creating to look and feel. Obito just wanted to leave. Like, he had just given up. And so he kind of got folded into Madara's plans as a result of that. I love this design here too. I think that we say Obito over pain over Madara in terms of logical execution. Yeah, Madara just, like, delegated so much of the actual, like, planning to Obito, and Obito was the mastermind behind the Akatsuki. He's responsible for, like, manipulating pain and Itachi and all of that. So, like, oh, gross, what the hell?
Voilà qui devrait aider.
Really intense supply shell. That's great, actually. So yeah, like, genuinely, I think Obito should get a gold star for his actual like management skills, so to speak. Pain, I prefer Pain as a character, but he wasn't actually at the helm, so to speak. Obito much smarter than Madara? I don't think so. But I don't have a strong compulsion about it, one way or another. But this music is so beautiful. Oh, cool! They're bringing back like that rush of strings. I love that too. Oh, good. I got to keep that in mind. The blight was a big challenge before. Let me finish catching up. I think that's the plot. He's supposed to be a hypocrite. Everyone Naruto faces has been hypocritical. Yeah, that's why Talk no Jutsu works so well, right? Because it cuts through the hypocrisy. And the battles are just kind of a vehicle towards breaking down the stoicism of the enemy's hypocrisy, or of the enemy's personality, to then expose the hypocrisy underneath. And that's what's really being interrogated: the conflict, the hypocrisy, the duality of their perspective, so to speak. Ryomen says, I agree, but the main reason why he started the war, I think, was to confront his past, which was a little bit of a tsundere on the inside. Yeah, it's an interesting take. I think he strikes me as running from his past. I don't think he really is willing to confront it until Naruto faces up against him. Darth Magog says, basically, Ryomen says, basically, he's an extremely nostalgic guy with childish desires, the same way he was kind of a loser as a kid. He wants to show off currently, in contrast to that. Yeah, exactly. I think he still has a lot to prove, but he kind of, like, resigned himself, for lack of a better word. Basically, if Superman showed up but kept his ethics, yeah, something like that, right? Would be interesting to see. I think it's probably, I think it's probably very naive of me to assume that there ever could be a truly, genuinely benevolent dictator. But I think it's coming from a place of frustration as well. Honestly, it's like, you see, I am very lucky. I live in a safe place. I don't really have health problems or financial problems. I am, lucky to be in a stable relationship and all that. And so I feel like what I'm about to say is kind of spoiled, but also, like, when you look around at some of the shit that continues to happen, some of the problems that we still are mired in as a species, it can be extremely fucking exhausting and demoralizing. And it's like, sometimes you just kind of want to throw in the towel. You want to be like, you know what? Somebody please show up and solve this. Somebody save us from ourselves, right? But we're not that lucky. We don't, and maybe it's not lucky at all. Like, maybe we're supposed to figure stuff out. I don't know. I don't want to get too philosophical or whatever, but you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like that's a bit selfish. It's a bit giving up to be like, somebody else just come take us away from our problems so we don't have to resolve them ourselves. Even if it's not, we're gonna have to do it. Like, Madara's solution wasn't a solution, it was an escape. Obito's solution wasn't a solution, it was an escape. Pain was just doing the same thing that had been done to him and continuing it. There was no answers there. They didn't actually fix the problem. They didn't really confront the actual source of the pain, the actual source of the underlying hypocrisy. They gave up and they put in, like, they attempted to instigate like a dictatorship in their own way, and it didn't work. It was fundamentally broken, right? So maybe Superman would do better. I don't know his character that well. Sorry, said, honestly, if Superman showed up, he'd never do that. He'd disagree with it fundamentally. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Like, what kind of person are you if you genuinely allow yourself to be appointed a dictator like that? Like, let's look to Cincinnatus rather than Caesar, if you know what I mean. Like a reverse injustice. Oh yeah, that's why he doesn't do it until Injustice, when he snaps. Yeah, good point. Or with the Justice Lords, but that's another story. Actually, it's the story that inspired Injustice. Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know enough about that universe. I should learn more. Saria says, our job, our purpose is to protect people in the grand scheme of things. We keep the world spinning on its axis, proverbially and literally. When the unimaginable occurs, we step in and throttle the life out of it. We allow humanity to live. We don't do the living for them. That's what Superman tells Kyle. I fucking love that. I need to watch that fucking movie. Maybe I'll have a chance to this weekend. Yeah, SWAT said the fight mechanism is god tier 2. Yes, the parrying is so satisfying. The overall progression of the abilities that you have, the fact that every single weapon has something unique and beautiful to its design. I mean, like, and it just keeps on getting better and better. Like, I'm 70 hours in, and I'm still discovering things that genuinely surprise me. New designs, new characters. Like, this game is god tier. Like unequivocally. Obito overpaying and writing mid-diff. I disagree. I understand that people love Obito, and I'm not trying to slander, but I didn't really like his character. I think I'm missing something. I think I need to reread him because I think other people are seeing a level of depth to him that I'm not. I find him kind of shallow and kind of pathetic in a way. But I could be convinced otherwise. Darth Magog says, "All right, it's dinner time. Got to punch out. May the force be with you all, my friends." Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope everything is going well. Thanks for enabling my my oddball rants. That's always good to get a chance to vent with friends. So yeah, take care. I'll see you sometime soon. I hope. Bye bye. Madara's extremely misunderstood too. I think you're probably right about that. Swat says we can shoot the lantern and turn off light. Yeah, I actually kind of wasted it because I didn't actually have any light stacks to remove. But yeah, you can. I only learned like 50 hours into the game that you can also shoot the lamp master's lanterns. That's what kind of got me through the chromatic lamp master fight, honestly. For example, I think any other conclusion other than Madara, that Zetsu would probably be a character assassination. Obito is both running from his past and wants to confront it at the same time. You see, that's where I personally disagree. I don't think he's trying to confront it. I think he's just running. But I would be happy to hear a counter argument for sure. This contradiction is due to his idealistic mindset. He can't stand mixing pleasure with happiness, so he just wants something perfect. I mean, with sadness, not happiness. I think I understand where you're coming from. But yeah, if you want to send me those DMs, like I'd be more than happy to hear your perspective. I think I might be a little unfair, but yeah. Seeing super. No, I won't. I promise it won't be 2027. I'll see it before then. I'm getting through my backlog, and I also am stepping down a little bit from some of my obsessive projects. So I will see it. I will see it. Although the Silent Hill movie just came out, and I need to go see that. I hear it's not so good. So very curious. I have to subject myself to it now. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for the discussion prompt. It is fun to talk about. Even though I'm, I don't consider myself really qualified to talk politics, but whatever, it's fun sometimes to just share things. Yeah, Ryoman, I'd be more than happy to hear your analysis. Good job. Tire, so gain 1 rank. Oh, that's cool. Looks like a wrench, maybe? 1 rank on applying mark. Okay. Apply powerless on marking an enemy. I'm gonna pick that up. Why not? Splendid. Let's pick those up. Anti-blight. I have a higher one. Exposing break. Apply defenseless on break. Sure. Charging weakness. 50% of a gradient charge and hitting a weakness. I don't really like proc weaknesses all that much, but I guess it makes sense to pick it up. Tainted. 15% increased damage for each status effect on self. I don't think I'll use that much, but I'll pick it up anyway. Protecting heal, healing eye. Oh, yeah, that's great. That should go right onto Monaco. I think, it is actually fully charged, so that's just an upgrade for it. That's even better. Perfect. I'll get that just in case. Yeah, great. Roman says him trying to confront it is more subconscious. Let's say you want to cut yourself away from your past, but once it comes back, it feels so real and attaching to you that it's hard to resist. Obito only talks about how much he moved on and forgot his past, but in practice we see several examples of that not being the case. That's a good point. Yeah, I think there's some nice nuance to your approach there. One of the things that I really do appreciate about his design overall is that he is very clearly like the design of his abilities, like his attacks, directly parallels his personality, if that makes sense, right? Like his whole thing is he wants to erase his presence, he wants to become nobody, he's willing to assume someone else's identity and their whatchamacallit, like not beliefs, their like Madara's philosophy, and bring his dream into life, so he's prepared to sacrifice or just like put aside his own identity. And of course that is like totally how do you say, like, is this another entrance or did I just come back around? No, I'm back to where I was before, right? Wait. Oh no, the battle arena switched so I could see the door in the background. That's weird. That's not creepy at all. Okay, I think this is just a shortcut, right? That looks like where we were before. Or maybe here? This is definitely like a labyrinthine kind of place. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to a like on the video, but don't feel pressured at all. Appreciate it either way. Let's see. Wait, there's something over there. Oh, that's the way to get back there. Oh, I see. So I can come up here, get on this platform, and then take this up as a shortcut. I think that's what it's trying to tell me, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. You only saw the trailer for Silent Hill via getting orbs on Discord. Oh, I had no idea that was a thing. That's cool. What did you think of the trailer? Even in small details, says Ryomen, for example, he remembers small things like guy forgetting his name as a kid. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I do like that. I mean, he does show up to just kind of chat with Naruto. Like he doesn't have to do that, right? He legit seemed mad at him for that. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think I just gotta keep going up, 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 up. I will say this is so I have conflicting feelings about something. I'm curious what you guys think. I don't think this is like a real very important criticism, but I do think that there is a disconnect in something about this game, and I think I mentioned it before. I'd be curious if you guys think it's a problem or not. So we can see this whole tower from the outside, and we can get up to the very top of it using esquier, right away, because we just did that before we even started climbing the tower. We flew up there with esquier, and I was like in the middle of it, right? So this the game itself is perfectly content giving us a diegetic mechanic to help us get to the top of the tower in a very trivial way. But then once we get inside the tower, it's much more massive than the way it seems outside compared to like escape size and all that. It takes us much longer to get up it. We can't use escape to fly around to get up there. It just the view and the proportion and the scale and everything seems vastly greater inside than it does outside. Now, to me, I think the way that we talked about this before is that like it's there's another version of this game where it's more like Elden Ring, where this level is just seamlessly integrated into the overworld, and you could just walk there. And if you have access to SKF Flight, you could just fly around this whole place, like running around on Torrent in Elden Ring. But also, it's a tradition amongst games of this genre to have, like, think of Final Fantasy VII, right? To have like towns and cities that are, and like individual levels and like battlefields or whatever that are more intricately designed like this. But then to have the world map, I mean, even going back to like the early Final Fantasy games, having the world map be like a mini, like chibi almost abstraction of those spaces, if that makes sense. So like when you're on the map, it's like you're like the world map is almost like a game board, you know, and you're seeing everything in miniature, everything zoomed out, and it's supposed to represent your journey between those different places, but not actually give you a correct scale, as a way of like expediting travel and not ruminating too much on the long-term travel narrative or whatever. So I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but it is a little weird to be like, the whole goal is to get to the top of the tower, and I, as a player, as a human, I already did that. I already went to the top of the tower. I was right there. I know that Eskia can land there. I know that based on like the size of the surroundings and the objects that we're observing, that there would be no real actual problem with Eskia like landing there that would break the world or anything like that. The only reason why he can't, as far as I can tell, is specifically because we have two versions of the same place: the miniaturized abstraction and then the actual place itself. I think there is an argument that is clunky design. I think that there is a counter argument that it's a charm and a unique trope of this particular genre. I don't think I would ever say that it's a mistake. I think it feels like a very deliberate choice and one that ultimately feels right for this game. But something about it still feels kind of weird. And I'd be curious if anyone listening to this, either currently or in the comments after the fact, if you feel the same.
Expédition 61. Margot. La voir. Mais je ne suis pas d'accord. Je ne crois pas qu'elle se sente seule. Même si elle est solitaire, c'est sûr. Ils ont un genre de société ici. Et elle se tient clairement à l'écart. Avec son comparse de l'atelier, bien sûr. Je n'avais encore jamais vu ces créatures s'affronter entre elles. Je dois bien reconnaître que sa créativité et sa motivation me sidèrent. J'ai un peu l'impression de trahir les miens en me disant ça. Mais elle a un petit quelque chose qui fait que j'ai envie qu'elle réussisse tout ce qu'elle entreprend.
I like that. I like that different people have different reactions and interpretations to the character. I think that, you know, so was it Sophie? Is that her name? The character who's close to Gustav at the beginning. Her, wow, hang on, this is just incredibly beautiful. Sorry, if you're listening, mark down this time in the video and listen back 10 or 20 seconds, because I remember we talked a while ago about like panning and the sounds going from left to right. If you notice that my singing voice is going to be terrible, but did you notice that that little vocal passage, the na, that one, it was playing in the center, right between the two speakers, but then also there was a very, very quiet, subtle echo that went to the left and then to the right and left to the right. I think that's related to what we were talking about before. I bet if you isolated that moment, it would, you know, how do you say, be relevant to our discussion from before. Sorry, says it. Oh, sorry. When Roman said he whoa, wow, words just stopped working for a second. Sorry. Roman said, by the way, I don't know if you ever noticed, but Obito took off his hoodie to see if Minato recognizes him due to the hair. Oh no, I don't even remember that. That's cool. Do you remember like what chapter that's from or whatever? Due to his hair and other things. It doesn't bother me. I feel like if they just let you SKS everywhere, or let SK, who is canonically super powerful, it would fight all your battles for you, it would just suck. Yeah, like the Eagles dropping Frodo directly into Mordor, right? It's like at a certain point, the answer to the question is why doesn't that happen is because shut up, because otherwise there wouldn't be a video game. Stop ruining fun. Like, you know, there'd be no reason to play at that point, because you're just walking to boss fights and then letting the sentient jug of wine kick their asses. Is that what SK is? He's full of wine for some reason. Tomorrow you're going to read a manga called Flowers of Evil. Ooh, that sounds cool. I think it's very goddamn, I'm gonna get another cough drop 1 second. I think it's very similar to Goodnight Poon Poon. So far, I've read only a few chapters, and the main character is a kid who stole some girl's gym clothes. Oh dear. Well, that's off to a bit of a sweaty start. I'd be curious to see, with that title, that definitely feels pretty ominous, so I'd be curious to see, like, what that title winds up meaning in the end, for lack of a better word. A better, phrasing. Oh, hey, look. That's cool. I wonder what that's all about. I really wish that they had, like, maybe I just haven't found it yet, but, like, to me, the grappling hook is so fucking cool, and I wish that there was like a gauntlet that relied on like precisely timed grapples, or just something that involved like more of a skillful dive into the grappling as a mechanic. Like I was playing 1000 times resist recently, and there's a section early on, so I don't think this is a spoiler, where you basically are like sort of suspended in this void, and you have a similar mechanic of like, you grapple to a certain point and then you hover in midair, and then while you're hovering you pick a new point, and if you get good at it you can zip all over the place. It's really fucking cool. So I wish they had something like that in this game. Just like ooh, hi. It's like chromatic flying Golgra. Please be gentle, Jesus Christ. I'm super intimidated. I love the design of this thing, though. Oh, man. I kind of figured that was going to happen. Oh, well. That's the thing. Yeah, so, like, I have I don't know if I have ADHD or whatever, but I have trouble sitting still. So, like, my partner and I have been listening to the audiobook for the Mistwalker Chronicles, or I think that's the name of it. And I can't just sit and listen to it. I have to be fidgeting with something. So, I've been replaying Elden Ring because I wanted to, like, when I know the base game very well, but I've only played Shadow of the Erdtree once, and I wanted to play it again and give it, like, a nice, slow, calm playthrough. Instead of mainlining it the way that I did when it first came out. Like, I beat it in, well, too short. I think it was like a week, maybe it was 2 weeks, but it was, I exhausted myself. I didn't really have much fun. So, I've been playing it, but I realized at a certain point that, oh my god, that's fucking cool, that I didn't have, I hadn't unlocked a pouch or something. And so I wanted to go back and enter one of the previous areas. And, because I like rushed there as quickly as possible. And so I went back and I fought, like, some, fuck, why am I struggling with words at the moment? Basically, like, it's so easy if you deviate from the quote-unquote, like, main path to just totally, like, get super powerful and totally, completely invalidate previous fights for yourself. Like, the game actually works best if you play it kind of linearly, and it's really easy to break things if you actually, like, go to a later level. Like, if you sprint straight for Altus, you can easily get there within 10 hours, find some enemies that are relatively easy, like farm up on the Albinorix in the Mogwin Palace grounds, and then if you can beat Moog, who is hard, but if you can do it and get to the Shadow of the Erdtree area, you know, the amount of XP that you're getting is just so fast that you can, you know, in an hour of just, like, reasonably safe play, you can get so much XP and powerful weapons. You bring them back, you just, like, steamroll through everything. It's kind of broken that way. Anyway, enough talking about other games. So this is a painted version of Alicia, right? The mother character, the Descendre, painted her daughter, burnt and warped and all that. But the Mael that we're playing as is not a brand new painting creation. The Mael we're painting as used to live outside the painting. Her name is actually Alicia. She's a real Alicia, and she was just given a new identity inside the painting. Or is she a second painted person and there's a third actual Alicia outside? I still don't understand anything, I'm sorry.
Alicia. Ta lettre.
I love those transitions to the, like, square bordered black and white and all that. I think I understand the lyrics a little.
C'est à nous qu'elle en veut. N'est-ce pas?
I understand.
Tu ne méritais pas ça.
Hello, you terrifying thing. Oh, cool.
Oh, tu es la vraie accent. Tu sais que c'est papa qui l'a peinte. Donc, tu sais qui elle représente. Tu... Tu aimes être ici. Avec elle.
Well, this should be interesting. I kind of wish that they had kept the como se llama, the inverted color scheme and the boxing of the frame. That would have been really cool, but it's okay. Let's see. I don't know what to expect. Well, let's try this. Oh. Okay. See, I think that I probably fucking ruined things by being over level. That was really goofy. Sorry, Alicia. Maybe the point wasn't to have this big protracted battle, though. Well, yeah. Mael gets it. Yeah, I do like their connection. That silence communication, implicit understanding between the two of them makes sense. Yeah.
Ça représente son espoir pour nous. Donc pour moi. Ton bout de ciel t'attend. Nous méritons toutes les deux de voler. Laisse-moi t'offrir un nouveau départ.
Alicia.
Envoie-moi auprès de ma famille.
Attends. Maël!
I don't understand what happened at all. Why would she do that? What the fuck? It's been very well established that she's her own person. Why would she kill her? Or is she like ejecting her from the painting? It doesn't seem like that. It's what she wanted. I need to do another playthrough off stream, clearly. Yeah, send me to my family, but Verso is this is painted Verso, right? That's right here with us, and she's painted Alicia. So brother is there. That's what I was saying. Here's Esquia, right? It's not a problem though, seriously. But like, you're with your family. You're the reason her family is fucking dead. No, that's. I think I'm not understanding because like, the reason Mael's family is dead is because of Verso. Because Mael's family was the people in the painting, and they got all gommaged. But like this Alicia was never part of them, right? I guess painted Renoir is dead, and real Renoir is in. I'm so fucking confused. It's okay. I'll figure it out sooner or later. Hello, friend. Good conversation, guys.
Désolée. C'est ce qu'elle voulait. Et je lui devais bien ça. On le lui devait.
I mean, maybe I'm just missing the point, but right, like if she has the painting power to literally like disassemble somebody and turn them into flowers, doesn't she have the power to like heal her scars and wounds and stuff? Like, couldn't she just like remake her, put her in a new, better body? I feel like I'm just missing the point. Or like even repaint the people that. Well, I guess that wouldn't work because it'd just be like copied stuff. You're saying Painted Romar is her dad, the Painter Descenders are her family. But also, Yeah, so and this is painted Verso, that's her brother, right? The person we are looking at right now is a painting recreation of the Verso that died in the fire. So he is the brother of the girl who just died. The girl's like, send me to my family, but your family is there with you. And in a way, like Mael is her sister. Her mom and dad outside the painting are still alive. They're the same people. She wanted a better solution, but Verso actively worked to genocide the world. Okay, I gotta reread that letter.
J'ai simplement respecté sa volonté. Quelque chose que ni Renoir ni toi n'avez jamais fait. Et maman non plus.
Je n'ai pas pu lui dire au revoir. Tu n'as pas attendu. Tu ne m'as pas laissé une chance de la persuader.
Elle savait pertinemment ce qu'elle voulait. Tu n'aurais jamais pu la faire changer d'avis.
Elle n'est pas toi. Tu ne peux pas en avoir la certitude. Je la connais mieux que toi. Mais tu ne m'as même pas laissé une chance d'essayer. Tu t'es juste contenté de l'effacer.
Yeah, fair point.
Tu as perdu 2 frères. Tu sais ce que ça fait de perdre des membres de ta famille sans pouvoir leur dire au revoir. Vous autres, les peintres, vous faites toujours ce qui vous chante, sans vous préoccuper de comment cela peut affecter le reste du monde.
C'est faux. Je sais que tu souffres, mais c'est pas moi qui ai pris cette décision. C'est elle. Je ne pouvais pas aller à l'encontre de sa volonté, juste pour te laisser une chance de la convaincre de changer d'avis.
That's a good point. That's a good point. If like she kept her around just so Verso can have a chance to convince her, if she already made up her mind, then it's kind of indulging in Verso's selfishness and like his desire, putting his desire over hers. So that makes sense. He didn't give Mael the letter. Okay. Oh, so the letter was intended for Mael. And so everyone was gommaged. He expected himself and he expected them both to die too. He has no right to be mad. He was going to kill her if his plan worked. I see. Okay, that was a detail that I didn't sink in for whatever reason. He doesn't consult her about what she feels towards his plan of killing everyone, including her. He refuses to give her letter to Mael, and he still tries to put his own wants above. I see. So yeah, it seems pretty hypocritical too. Like on the one hand, he like absolutely wants to keep her alive and to convince her, but on the other hand, he was prepared to let her die. He doesn't consult her about what she feels towards his plan of killing everyone, including her. He refuses to give the letter to Mael, and she still tries to put his own wants above. Alicia is when she wrestles back her agency from him to die on her own terms. Verso doesn't deserve the chance to try and convince Alicia. That's fair. Okay, I think I'm understanding a bit better now. In the end, Mael does to him what he had done to everyone in the canvas, including her. Right, she didn't get a chance to say goodbye because of his choices, so now it's kind of like karmically coming back around. In the end, Mael does to him what he had done to everyone in the canvas, including her, choosing his own fate for him. It's classic Greek punishment. That's a good point. I like that reference there. The sinner is rewarded for his crimes with an ironic fate. Verso spends the game denying everyone's right to choose, and thus his right to choose is taken away from him. That actually makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I do appreciate the clarification there. Right. So we killed off the painted. We fought painted Clair. We fought the Pontress, which is his mom, and we fought painted Renoir. So now he is the last painted version of the painters.
Tu m'as moi. Tu nous as nous.
Maël, je n'étais pas prêt.
Je ne comprends pas. Tu étais prêt quand tu as délivré papa pourtant. Tu t'attendais à ce qu'il détruise la toile et tout le monde à l'intérieur. C'est la même chose, non?
I hear you, yeah.
C'est différent. C'est différent. Pourquoi a-t-elle fait ça?
It's different because you weren't around to... I think I'm starting to understand your frustration. Like, oh, that's different because you wouldn't have had to actually deal with the emotional consequences of what you did. But now that you have to, it's like, it's hard for you now. Because he's the last of the painted family because of his own choices. Oh, sorry, Roman. I think I missed some messages from you. Let me go back and look. You said you've read a few chapters and a main character is a kid who stole some girl's gym clothes, But some girl saw him doing that, so now she blackmails him. Her condition is to hang around with her after school so that she doesn't tell everyone. Okay, reasonable. The reason he stole it seems pretty obviously because he's a perv. So far, that girl blackmails the main character is the most interesting. Yeah, that is an interesting kind of use of power to lock in a relationship between those characters. I'll be curious to see how you like it. So far, the blackmailing girl is better than the main girl character who stole the gym clothes of the main character in terms of how I like him. That's cool. I'm glad you're having a positive response to it that early. That's a good sign. At least I didn't want to live in a world without her family. Well, she still has her brother, but I understand what you're saying.
Je le sais bien. Mais tu as raison. J'aurais dû penser à toi.
Maëlle continues to be MVP.
Je suis vraiment
Oh, sorry.
désolée, Verso.
At least she's apologizing. Verso still hasn't taken accountability.
Elle est libre maintenant.
Blackmailing someone that they hang out with you is very interesting. Yeah, it's definitely a unique premise for a relationship. That's not even their max level, huh? There's another one. Excuse me.
Oui. On pourrait peut-être faire une halte au village des gestes. Ce serait une
Okay, just a village, yeah. I think I gotta go beat up Golgra as well. Might be a good time. Just make sure that I do any other remaining quests here. This is why I hate Verso. Like, yes, once Maëlle beats real Leonard, she can bring everyone back, just like she did with Ciel and Lune. But it's the principle. He killed everyone because he wants to die. Yeah, exactly. So that he won't have to confront. Yeah. I'm starting to see now. Like, when he said that, I had this, like, something clicked in my head, and I was like, wait, you don't get to say that, motherfucker. Like, that's not fair.
J'en ai plus cassé que tout le monde. Ils comptent tous sur moi.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we already have another one. Ooh, the music box is so great.
Le monolithe a l'air étrange, sans maman ou le nombre dessus.
I have a really dumb question. What was the deal with the numbers? Was that ever explained? No, actually, no. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I want to figure it out myself.
Il a l'air vide maintenant.
J'avoue que ça me manque un peu de ne plus la voir là,
You have to be honest. Yeah, exactly.
en ce moment.
It's so like you can't have any kind of real relationship based on dishonesty.
Cléa doit pas être contente elle non plus. Elles doivent être en train de se rendre mutuellement folles.
That will make you hate Verso more. That's totally fair.
Même si ça m'étonnerait que Cléa passe beaucoup de temps à la maison. La connaissant, elle doit plutôt être en train de traquer les écrivains responsables de l'incendie.
Ah, now we get a little lore. Okay.
Semblerait tout à fait, en effet.
Oui. Je l'ai à peine vue quand j'étais à la maison. La mort de Verso lui a fait un choc. Comme à nous tous, en fait.
Je l'ai rencontrée à 3 reprises.
C'est vrai?
La première fois, c'était juste après la fracture, avec l'expédition 0. Elle nous a stoppés au niveau de la barrière.
Et elle vous a tout dit à ce moment-là?
Oui. Et puis, elle a essayé de nous tuer quand on a refusé de retourner à Lumière.
Cléa.
Why are you smiling about that?
Quand je l'ai revue, bien des années plus tard, elle a essayé de me recruter. Et la dernière fois, elle m'a retrouvé après m'avoir activement cherché. C'était il y a 16 ans. Ce jour-là, elle m'a demandé de garder un œil sur toi. J'imagine qu'elle pensait que tu étais plus en sécurité ici, loin de sa guerre.
Interesting.
Attends. Ça veut dire que depuis tout ce temps, tu me surveilles?
De loin, oui. Je revenais de temps en temps à Lumière.
Okay, so he was like aware of the gommaging, and he just kind of like let that happen over and over and over again. I guess he couldn't have stopped Renard on his own, so maybe there was nothing he could do.
Alors, tu savais où j'étais. Et tu m'as laissé là-bas.
But he also could have given the expeditioners intel and like talked to them and helped them, and he didn't.
Je
He's kind of an idiot. Is
Du moment où tu as quitté Lumière, je suis resté tout près. J'ai éliminé les névrons les plus dangereux avant votre arrivée, et je t'ai emmené loin de la plage.
Mais tu as aussi laissé Renoir
Yeah.
tuer le reste de l'expédition. Et tu n'as pas aidé les autres.
Ils étaient trop nombreux pour que je puisse tous les sauver.
I mean, maybe if you had just like, I mean, I did just putting a lot of pressure on this one poor guy, but if you had like, I don't know, communicated a little bit more, told them what to expect, warned them about Renoir, maybe like shared a little intel here or there, teamed up with them from the get-go, told them to land. Like, there's so many, I can think of so many ways that he could have been more helpful other than like, well, I cleared out a couple of enemies for you. Like, come on, buddy.
Il faut que je te demande quelque chose.
Quoi donc?
Tu ne me mentirais pas. Pas vrai?
That's literally all he's done.
Je pense que nous avons dépassé ce stade depuis longtemps.
Sur la falaise. Gustave,
Oui, quoi?
tu as laissé Renoir tuer Gustave. Tu aurais pu le sauver?
Ooh, interesting. Very interesting that they reveal this to the player. I like this. I like this a lot. Be honest, I see what you mean, yeah.
Désolé,
Pourquoi?
j'avais peur que si tu apprenais pour le tableau et que Gustave était encore là, tu refuserais de m'aider à renvoyer maman à la maison.
I see. Yeah, okay, fuck this guy. This guy sucks.
Tu l'as laissé mourir.
Because you were afraid of not getting your way, you let all that shit. Fuck you. Like, you don't think that maybe if you like saved the motherfucker, you would have earned a little bit of goodwill? If you had just communicated and been honest from the get-go instead of trying to manipulate them, then maybe they would have expressed some gratitude. You could say, oh, well, he didn't really know them. Yeah, but you've been watching them your whole life, or Mael's whole life. You're like 100 years old. He's so stupid. This is why you fucking hate him. Yeah, okay, I can see it now.
J'aurais dû tout te dire plus tôt. Je ne pouvais pas prendre le risque.
Couldn't take any chances. You know what? Being a dishonest, like, slinky little weasel fuck is taking a chance.
Merci. De m'avoir dit la vérité.
He let Gustav die and then came in and groomed Mael to his side. Like, yeah, that's fucking taking a chance, bro. Like, and a pretty sleazy chance at that. Ryomen says in the other manga I'm reading, Massacre Happy End, the plot is the main character and his sister are stuck in a time loop. For example, they need to live July 10th. Oh, that's interesting. As an issue because his sister... Sorry, one sec. Damn it, I need to sleep tonight. So main character... Oh, sorry. And that's an issue because his sister is sick, so she can't be treated properly when she's in a loop. Oh, that's cool. So main character finds out that he can escape the loop if he kills someone every day. Ah, interesting. Okay. That is a cool mechanic, yeah. Like one kill equals you can go from July 10th to July 11th. So that's an interesting moral dilemma. Like, how many people would you kill and which people would you choose to kill to save like the one person that you love? I think that's an interesting premise for sure. Saria said, literally revealed himself at her most vulnerable. Yeah, what a slime ball. Yeah, that it is actually incredibly fucked up. Because he didn't want to take a risk. What a little coward.
Quelque chose.
Tu es une peintresse, alors peins quelque chose dessus.
Pourquoi pas, papa, toi, rentre à la maison.
J'aime beaucoup comme formule.
Allez, viens, faisons-le.
So, sorry. In your opinion, shouldn't like Mael hate him too? Like, do you think it makes sense that they have an unbreakable bond now? Like, I feel like it's probably a good thing about her character that she doesn't, but she would be justified for just like killing him right now. Her name's Mael, not Max. That's cool, though. Oh, shit. Okay, that's actually really fucking cool. I can't wait to see what that does. Is it gonna take like 5 um gradient points or something like that? It's gonna be like a one-shot kill. That'd be fucking cool.
Oui, on pourrait peut-être. Ce serait une.
Jestral village next. I'm guessing that we're done with the.
Oui,
Je ne me sens guère inspiré en ce moment.
voyons si est-ce
He
qu'il
killed
y a
some.
un
Ah, I see.
convaincre
That makes sense. I'm not gonna cry about that for sure. Okay, let's check in with the big boy. I also empathetic, and that's her biggest fault. She's just like booked on Eris. Okay, yeah.
Explorons le fond de l'océan.
Tu n'as pas peur de ce qu'on risque d'y trouver?
Les pierres du fond des mers sont mes amis aussi.
Kind of wish we could explore the ocean floor, but I mean, like, it's a lot to ask after everything else in this game. It's fine.
J'ai vraiment une sensation bizarre quand je la regarde.
Qui ça? Maël?
Elle a le pouvoir de recréer le monde. C'est une peintresse. Et pourtant, c'est toujours notre Maëlle.
Oui, c'est notre Maël.
Tu dis que tu as pris part à d'autres expéditions.
Quelques-unes, oui.
Maybe I should boost the volume a little. Just noticing it's quite low. One sec. Okay, here we go.
Avec la 46 aussi?
La 46? Non, pourquoi?
Oh, pour rien. C'est juste que je me disais... Peut-être...
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Lune?
Mes parents...
Ils faisaient partie de l'expédition 46. Je ne les ai pas accompagnés, mais j'ai retrouvé leurs traces.
C'est vrai?
Saria says, now you know why I said fuck this guy, and he's the overworld character from my else chapter of the rage I feel. Yeah, that's perfectly understandable, yeah.
Oh,
Je peux te montrer où.
sérieux?
Mais,
Oh, sorry.
d'accord. Allez, viens, c'est pas loin. Surtout maintenant qu'Esquier peut voler.
Non. Non, on ne peut pas se permettre de faire un détour.
Bon, si jamais tu changes d'avis.
Merci.
Okay. On Siren's Island, not far from Siren's Colosseum. Okay. Let's go do that now so I don't forget like I did with the other thing. And then we'll go to the Noko village, or Jestral village.
Soleil, me voilà.
This was the... Oh, yeah, Siren's Island is over there. Oh, I think that background music changed.
Accrochez-vous.
Oh, maybe not. Oh, nice. Okay, so they actually did mark the map. That's very helpful. Oh, hey, little guy. I don't know if I found this guy before.
Oh, Mickey.
I love their voices so much. Yeah, okay, obviously we didn't find it then.
Les membres de la 46 sont tout proches.
Ici?
Oui, mais arriver jusqu'à eux risque d'être compliqué.
Tout est compliqué ici, non?
Mm-hmm. I really can't get over his excuse. I didn't want to take a risk is like the worst explanation you could possibly give. Bro, maybe if you didn't like Gustave the Genius, the reason your expedition is so strong, pre-Pantres Mael die, that'd be good. Yeah, it's a big fucking risk to let him die. Like, it's very, very, very bad. It's kind of funny. Let's do it again. Second time's the charm, right? Music? Can she? Oh yeah, she plays guitar, right? Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I should probably let Lune steer for now.
Il s'agit de...
Mes
Ouh.
parents? Non. C'est Amélie et Christophe. Ils venaient parfois manger chez nous.
Je suis désolé.
C'était des gens bien. Leur journal doit se trouver non loin.
Oh, holy shit! That scared the shit out of me. That's awesome. That was really cool. That was such an earned jump scare. Oh shit. Okay, new party members. I am not equipped to deal with this. Oh, never mind. The hell? Hello, friend. Okay, we can do this. Oh, right. Yeah, we're fine. What's wrong with my controller? Oh, the dizzy thing. One more. One more. There we go. Yeah, I feel like I cheated myself a little bit by not, how do you say, by being too over-leveled here. Maybe I should have done these missions earlier. That's cute. The monolith message. I do hope we get some lore on specifically like why certain characters get quote unquote get to use magic versus like why Lune can float around and stuff like that, you know.
Expédition 46. Annelie. Brigitte a fini par succomber à son infection. Elle a affronté ce maudit névron pendant 4 jours et 4 nuits, ce qui nous a tous sauvés. Mais elle est sortie du combat la serrée de partout. Sur la fin, elle avait presque l'air en paix. Elle nous a dit de ne pas nous en faire en nous assurant que sa fille Lune achèverait le travail.
Ça va?
Retournons au camp.
Saria says, I've had so many people shocked. I have no sympathy for Verso, and I'm just like, why would I? He helped commit genocide of the human race. Yeah, that's pretty high up on the list of deal breakers, to be honest. Oh, it's a canvas. It doesn't matter if it's a canvas, right? Like, they're sentient people. They are very real people. They have real lives, real emotions. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, they're real. They're fighting to survive. The fact that they're fighting to survive shows you these people have sentience. Yes, exactly. The fact you cried for Sophie, for Gustav. These are people and they were murdered unjustly. Yep, absolutely. Doesn't matter how they were spawned or created or whatever. If they're sentient, if they can feel, then they're people.
Depuis que je suis toute petite, tout ce qu'on a fait tournait autour de la peintresse. Cette crainte, cette responsabilité, elles ont toujours fait partie de ma vie. Elles ont toujours été là, à toujours. Il n'y avait jamais le moindre répit. Même quand je dors, ce sentiment reste présent. Comme si j'avais du mal à respirer.
Tu subis une
Oh,
terrible
oh,
pression.
what happened to his head?
Oui, les derniers mots de ma mère étaient « Achève notre travail ».
Ça prouve qu'elle croyait en toi.
J'imagine que c'est une façon de voir les choses.
L'autre étant...
Que c'est la seule valeur que j'avais aux yeux de mes parents. Pas en tant que fille, mais en tant que plan de secours, pour leur héritage.
Get a job, get away from her. Loon baby, get away from him. Yeah, I'm now knowing what I know. I'm even more skeeved out by the whole CL situation.
Tu le crois vraiment?
Il disait toujours qu'au bout du compte, participer, ça sert à rien. Tout ce qui importe, c'est les résultats.
Seems like they had some issues.
Si tu détestes tellement ça, pourquoi avoir pris leur suite?
Je sais pas. Peut-être parce que j'entends encore leur voix dans
yeah.
ma tête. Et que c'est pas en m'enfuyant que j'arriverai à la faire taire.
Ils sont morts, tu sais. Cette voix que tu entends, ça n'est pas la leur, c'est la tienne.
That's a good point.
Même s'ils étaient encore en vie, la seule voix que tu
Yeah.
entendais,
I like that actually.
Ça se passe comme ça pour toi aussi?
plus ou moins. Il y a des jours où je ne sais pas trop.
J'imagine.
J'imagine. I don't like this. I don't like that very much at all.
J'ai vraiment une sensation bizarre.
Qui ça?
Elle a le pouvoir.
Oui.
Hey, Luna's an amazing design for sure. Yeah, like the one coming down the side of her face kind of looks like tears, but in runes. That's awesome.
Non.
Yeah, that one there. It's fucking awesome. I love it.
Non? Alors, théorie sur les accents?
Continue donc de chercher.
Eh bien,
Cool. I didn't know that.
Noko, alors.
Ouh, tu brûles.
Tu brûles.
Maintenant, je meurs d'envie de savoir ce que tu couches sur le papier. Je te propose un marché. Permets-moi de lire ton journal, et je te laisse lire le mien.
Parce que tu tiens un journal toi aussi?
Ouais, j'y consigne tous mes secrets les plus inavouables. Ça te tente?
Avoue-le, c'est juste une collection de croquis dessinés.
Allez, il n'est pas si nul que ça. La preuve, il t'a rendu le sourire.
Eh bien, si tu veux tout savoir, j'écris une chanson.
Une chanson.
Mes parents disaient toujours que la musique était un passe-temps frivole.
Read his journal of lies. Yeah. I wouldn't trust anything that's written in there, to be honest.
Quelqu'un m'a dit récemment que la seule voix que je devais écouter, c'était la mienne. Et j'ai décidé d'être un peu égoïste quand j'ai du temps à moi. De toute façon, nos problèmes seront toujours là demain matin.
That's fair.
Je vote pour les pauvres égoïstes, à l'unanimité.
Ça m'étonne pas. J'ai cru comprendre que tu t'en étais accordé quelques-unes avec Ciel ces temps-ci. Je suis heureuse qu'elle ait trouvé le bonheur. Ou du moins, quelques occasions de s'amuser. Mais j'avoue que ça n'aurait pas été désagréable. D'accord, je vais te chanter ma chanson, mais défense de rire. Et si tu as des commentaires, tu te les gardes.
Oh my god.
Très bien. Sors ton piano. J'aimerais avoir ton avis sur ce passage.
You can just summon the piano. Why did I never get to summon a piano in the fucking mid-battle or anything? Imagine dropping a piano on Renoir's head, like, as a finishing move. That would have been such a great flex. I don't understand. I don't know. I feel like somebody in the party should hate him. Like, they're being way too accepting of him after everything he did. It's really weird. Genuinely, he has it settled in for your group with the only human. Yeah, and it's like his fault. Like, it's actually his fault.
Oui.
C'est pas que je m'en moquais avant. Je me préoccupais de la mission. Mais maintenant...
Maintenant, c'est personnel.
It's only personal now. Come on.
Je vais aller nager avec Esquier. Ça te dit de te joindre à nous?
C'est lui qui t'a dit de venir me le demander?
Bien sûr.
Quel gredin celui-là. Il n'arrête pas d'essayer de m'inciter à me jeter à l'eau. Au sens...
C'est vrai que je l'ai entendu dire que tu étais une très mauvaise nageuse.
Est-ce qu'il est...
C'est vrai que tu sembles toujours mal à l'aise dès qu'on doit franchir une étendue d'eau. Tu ferais bien d'apprendre à nager. Comme ça, tu pourrais me sauver si c'est moi qui tombe à l'eau.
Tu n'auras qu'à te sauver toi-même.
Et le travail d'équipe alors? Imaginons que je sois blessé ou inconscient.
Ta situation hypothétique est bien spécifique. J'imagine que c'est une bonne idée.
Elle est même excellente. Va te changer et retrouve-moi au bord du lac.
D'accord.
Secret swimsuits in Monaco's bag. Just in case. Sneaky verso, yeah. He looks so
Je
goofy.
sais nager. Je te rappelle que j'ai grandi sur une île. C'est juste que j'ai une aversion prononcée pour la natation.
Oh, je peux t'aider pour ça.
Okay.
Moi aussi, j'avais une aversion pour Monoko.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you be averse to your own good puppy? I think Ciel and Loon just want to be civil, but I understand Mael. He's wearing her big brother's face. He's not her verse, so he's a selfish bastard. But yeah, it has his voice. Yeah, that's a good point. That's understandable, yep.
Ah, dans ce cas, merci de me révéler ton secret.
Il faut affronter sa peur en face. Tenter de l'éviter ne fait qu'accentuer le problème. Je me suis ligoté à Monoko pendant 1 mois, et on a passé tout notre temps ensemble.
You're weird. You have issues.
Enfin, pour être exact, c'est nos qui nous a attachés l'un à l'autre.
The fact that you wouldn't have immediately become best friends with him, it speaks to your moral depravity, sir.
C'est ça qui est censé me motiver.
J'étais aussi le capitaine de l'équipe de natation à l'école.
Et le fait que tu nageais avec d'autres enfants il y a 100 ans est censé m'impressionner.
Je sais toujours nager aujourd'hui. Ce n'est pas quelque chose qu'on oublie. Allons, laisse-moi t'aider. Tout est une question de contrôle. On doit t'aider à te sentir en contrôle de la situation, ce qui te laissera le temps de réagir.
Très bien, je t'écoute avec attention, ô sage capitaine de natation.
Natation.
Reste assise dans l'eau pendant quelques instants. Et puis, quand tu te sentiras plus à l'aise, jusqu'à ce qu'on arrive aux arbres que tu vois là-bas sur les...
I might skip through some of this because I feel uncomfortable.
J'ai réussi. J'arrive pas à croire que ça ait marché. Merci.
Quand je pense que tu doutais de moi.
Je reconnais que tu es un excellent professeur de natation.
Et maintenant, retourne là-bas. Vas-y.
Quoi? Sans un petit discours pour me motiver cette fois?
Alors tu reconnais que mes paroles étaient motivantes. Dis-moi,
Oh.
Verso,
qu'est-ce qui ne va pas?
les choses ont changé désormais.
Oh, okay, good.
Maël peut ramener Pierre. Je suis désolée.
Good. Good. Yes, good.
Ah, ouais, bien sûr. Ne t'en fais pas, je comprends.
Mais je pense tout de même que nous devrions passer la nuit ici.
C'est vrai?
Le temps que nous avons passé ensemble était spécial. Célébrons-le une dernière fois.
Yeah.
Je crois pas que ce soit une bonne idée. Pour moi.
Je suis désolée.
Ne le sois pas. Retournons là-bas.
Cool. Yeah, this is great. I'm glad that they're getting closer. Yeah, this is totally fine. Yep. This is healthy and normal. Okay. One more, I
Je
think.
suis rarement aussi nerveuse.
Oui, je vois.
C'est pas que je m'en moquais.
Oh, yeah.
Non, c'est
Let's keep going. Wrap this up, and then let's go poke our noses into the, whatchamacallit, the Gestral village, and then I think we'll call it a night.
Tu ne m'as jamais dit comment une fermière finit-elle par se retrouver à la tête d'une école?
C'est évident, non?
Je ne suis pas aussi intelligent que toi, alors j'ai bien peur qu'il te faille m'expliquer.
C'est bien que tu sois capable de reconnaître que je suis plus intelligente que toi. Pierre était bénévole à l'école. Il enseignait aux enfants comment naviguer et survivre en pleine nature. Après sa mort, j'étais au plus mal. À l'école, je n'allais toujours pas bien. Mais au moins,
I'm gonna skip a little bit because I don't. I have like really weird vibes from this whole interaction.
sentir plus proche de son fils. Continuer
Or
à
maybe not,
percevoir
maybe
la
not.
présence de Verso.
Aurais-tu créé une copie de Pierre si tu avais pu? Même en sachant que
That's
ce
an
ne serait
interesting
pas le
question,
vrai.
yeah.
Si tu me posais la question aujourd'hui, alors non. J'ai vu comment la situation actuelle te tourmente. Et je ne voudrais pas infliger ça à qui que ce soit. Mais si tu me l'avais demandé à l'époque, j'aurais été prête à tout pour le revoir. Pour entendre sa voix. Ou sentir ses bras autour de moi.
I'm curious, is it possible for somebody painting inside the painting to jump out and go into the real world? Or are they always confined inside the painting?
Chaque jour, je ne ressentais que son absence. Le vide laissé par le fait qu'il ne soit plus là.
I know that's like, yeah.
La marque sur la chaise où il s'asseyait. Celle de ses pieds dans ses chaussures. Sa veste qui n'était plus portée.
Yeah, that's real.
Tu veux savoir pourquoi je déteste l'eau? J'ai essayé de me noyer.
Quoi?
Quand j'ai perdu Pierre, j'ai plongé dans l'océan et nagé aussi loin que possible de lumière, allant jusqu'au bout de mes forces et laissant le ressac m'entraîner au loin, jusqu'à ce que je n'ai plus l'énergie de continuer à avancer. Mais je me suis réveillée le lendemain.
Oh, did Eskia save her?
De lumière, j'étais toujours vivante et je n'avais pas la moindre idée de ce qui avait bien pu se passer. Ce que j'ignorais à l'époque et que j'ai appris à l'hôpital, c'est que j'étais enceinte. Qu'en cherchant à me noyer, j'avais perdu mon enfant.
Ciel.
Alors, je désire plus que tout que Maël ramène tout le monde. Que Pierre revienne. Mais je sais pas comment lui dire que par ma faute.
It's not
nous
your
avons perdu
fault.
notre fille. Elle aurait eu 6 ans aujourd'hui.
Je suis vraiment désolé.
Sombre et personnelle.
This is actually like hitting me pretty hard.
Il m'est arrivé d'avoir ce genre de pensée, moi aussi. Pas de vouloir me noyer, mais tu vois ce que je veux dire.
That's a lot to go through, to say the very least. Like a lot. It's heavy shit.
Ça aurait résolu tellement de problèmes. Pour tout le monde.
Verso,
C'est un choix comme un autre.
c'est vrai.
Mais il y a une créature que Verso apporte dans
Yeah,
ce
yeah,
tableau.
yeah, yeah, okay.
Un être qui aide toujours ceux qui sont rongés par leurs sombres pensées.
Tu veux dire...
Oui. Lui.
Okay, that was pretty sweet. I actually really like that. Feels very, very real. Okay, well, I think that's the narrative, like, character moments cleared. That's great. I think we just hit the 3-hour mark. So I think let me park myself in front of the como se llama el villaggio, the Gestral village. So next time we can start there. I think I'm gonna call it a night for tonight. Nice, it was like a nice ending place. We had a long period of talkie, and now we have enjoyed some more calmer conversations. I think if I have time, which I think I will this weekend, I think probably going to have not a whole lot going on. I think this weekend I will try to practice on some of the enemies in the tower, because I think that's the last thing to do, right? I'll do another look around, but we defeated the sea dragon thing. Oh, hi, whale. We defeated the like a bunch of the other like chromatic shits that we messed with. I think there's not really anything else. I want to find that tiny Bourgeon, because I don't think we've done his stuff, and I think it would be good to do that. But apart from that, I think that's pretty much it. Oh man, I got the wrong characters out. That's okay. Let's see. I might try and mess with her build a little bit too. Nice. Yeah, sweet. I mean, that's not terrible. That's definitely not terrible. Okay, can I actually block this? There's like a tiny window where I think I can block it. I'm not sure though. I probably should have used the other one. Okay, let's just do a regular attack. Nice, okay. Fire Rage is pretty great. No, you can't eat both of them. Come on, what are you doing? I tried to parry it, it didn't work. Oh shit, trigger twice. Cut it out. Nice, okay. Damn, that counter is strong. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Big jerk face. Yeah, I have all these fucking Bourgeon skins that I don't know what to do with. I think I do know what to do with it. I think I gotta go give them to the small Bourgeon and help it grow. Yeah, clearly. Can I actually find them right now? It was somewhere in here, right? It's not in there. Don't think it was in there. It was literally just its own like small thing. Is it on the map? At best. Oh yeah, the small Bourgeon. Okay. It's like right where I am too. In here? Yeah, okay, fuck. Alright, let's do this real quick. Little guy. He's so cute. It's a terrible posture too. Yeah. You don't like anything about him, do you? I don't blame you. Absolutely horrid for him. Ew, gross. Where the fuck were you hiding that? Where are you storing that, buddy? Nom 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 nom. Oof. Rest, digest, rest, digest. Okay, get out of the... Motherfucker can't even walk. Yeah, I'm switching away from this guy. I don't like looking at him. Here we go. This is better. Terrible beard. Samurai style haircut is kind of cool though. Whoa, that was fast. Hi, buddy. Not quite. Okay. Please don't kill me. There you go. Did he? Oh, there it is. That's cute. Thanks, appreciate it. Get bigger. Region. Ah, interesting. Okay. So, these stupid plants are gonna be the death of me. Well, that's only one. What do I do with all the other skins? I had a really weird dream that like I decided to continue playing the game off stream, and then I found a boss and beat it, and then it saved over my file and I couldn't get it, and I was like really sheepish and embarrassed to come back to stream and tell you guys like, I'm sorry you didn't see my reaction. Like I felt really bad about it, and then I woke up and I'm like, oh cool, I didn't do it.
Expédition 53, Lilou. Les autres blessures de Dominique ne sont pas graves et pourtant, elle est dans le coma depuis 2 semaines et son état refuse de s'améliorer. Merde, que faire? On ne peut quand même pas l'abandonner ici, mais... Et la mission? Lance a proposé de lui laisser encore 1 semaine pour se remettre, mais Dom aurait voulu qu'on continue. Elle nous aurait même engueulé comme du poisson pourri pour avoir attendu aussi longtemps. C'est le seul choix possible, je le sais bien. Même s'il me laisse un goût désagréable dans la bouche. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Ponce a trouvé une plante et l'a testée sur plusieurs animaux. D'après lui, grâce à ça, Dom ne souffrira pas. Il est en train de préparer un breuvage avec. C'est dégueulasse. Et toute cette situation est merdique à souhait, mais... c'est ce qu'elle aurait voulu.
Well, that ties in nicely to our themes of Alicia. Good puppy. Good friend. Get bigger? Oh, for some reason I thought that like this would kind of be like a Gurunk, aka Malekith, spoiler, sorry, in Elden Ring, where you go out and collect the death root and bring it back, and each time it gets a little bit bigger. I'm surprised that I still have this huge inventory of all this skin that I've been hauling around with me the whole time, so I don't know what to do with it. But so I think that's probably the time to stop now. As much as I could keep going and going and going with this, of course, because I love it so much, I think I need to kind of start getting ready for bed a little bit earlier tonight. Get some sleep. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure. So I think I probably will do a stream on Sunday as well about Naruto. I think I have to think about what I want to do with the streams going forward. Probably makes sense to do one more because, you know, it'll be my 100th video. So it would be nice to have like one last stream to round up the 100 with. Not last stream, Soma, but you know, like the one to not like do another hiatus, so to speak. After that, I don't know. I think I might do. I don't know. I have to think about it. Yeah, I'll give it some thought. But yeah, so sorry, I'm kind of like lost in thought over here. But yeah, I think I'll plan to show up on Sunday for a little Amaterasu stream. I think. Then after that, oh, is that the DLC area? That's cool. And then after that, maybe we'll play some other games. Maybe I'll spend some time working on my other video. We'll see. But in the meantime, as always, thank you so much for stopping by and having fun with us, and for the discussion and the prompts and the camaraderie and all of that. It's always genuinely look forward to this every single time. It's great to share this journey with you guys, and very grateful to have this game in my life right now. As I mentioned before, I'll keep this short, but like, I'm pretty fucking fed up with some parts of the games industry right now. I don't think I'm gonna ever quit. This is my calling. This is my destiny. I really do love it, and I don't want to switch jobs, but like, certain things this year came really close to ruining it for me. Like, made me very deeply cynical, and I can't talk about them yet. There's a couple of things that happened that I haven't been able to talk about because of NDAs, and I hope that maybe in 3 or 4 months, I'm not sure, I'll be able to talk about them more. I'm eager to. I have things to say, for sure, but it's the existence of games like this that remind me, this is why we do what we do. Like, despite other, like, certain people, certain bad actors, certain cynical, jaded people, profit-only driven people doing their damnedest to ruin it for the rest of us, they can't, right? Like, at the end of the day, gaming as an art form doesn't belong to any one person in particular, any one agency, any one group. The artistry that we are capable as game creators of making, not to take credit for this team's work obviously, but like, the sorts of things that in a perfect world, if we succeed, that we're able to make, it's really special. I'm really grateful to be part of that. And it's like games like this, not to belabor the point, but it's games like this that remind me of that, So again, like, I think it's probably very unlikely that Sandfall anybody is watching this, but just know that your hard work is deeply, deeply appreciated. I know you already know this from the awards and everything, but as a aging, slightly embittered, battle-weary developer to another developer, like, I'm grateful that this exists. Genuinely, it's been helpful and reassuring in kind of a strange way. Ooh, what's this? Oh, it is an actual underwater place we can explore. Oh, okay. This is very, very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna save this for next time because this looks really cool. What a great little cliffhanger. Awesome. Alright, so yeah, sorry, it says, Vessel is wonderfully written, by the way. Yes, for sure. But that won't stop me from disliking him as a person, because fuck that guy. That's totally fair. Also, I just want to say, I don't blame Monaco and SK for not saying anything, because even though this is a painted Verso, their purpose is to make Verso happy, so I can't blame them. Yes, absolutely. That makes sense. I think they have their loyalty, and that's very understandable. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much. I hope you are well. I hope you stay safe. Stay connected to people you love.